Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Yeah, my computer's going big time slow at the moment, so I'm hoping we're going to be okay. But let me know in the chat if everything's okay, if you can hear us, are we glitching and all that kind of stuff. So just let me know. But I'll just read out some comments just to see who we have in the chat. Okay, so Hyperspace Vault. Hi guys, how you doing? David Young. We have Chris from Toys of the Jedi. Andy Dibley, Bradley Harvey, Daniel Chart. How you doing, my friend? Martin Footer. Good to see you. D. Thompson, Jedi Berry, Gary Wallace, John Charlton, Space Hut. How you doing, mate?
Oh, hey, Lewis.
Fellow pleb.
Plebs United, man.
Unite the plebs.
We say that with all the carded figures behind.
Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Toys of the way. Good to see you all. Just let me know if the audio's okay and you can hear and that we're not glitching and all that kind of stuff. We're doing any slowdown. Hopefully not. Anyway, I'm just going to introduce everyone that I've got with me tonight. So first of all, welcome everybody to another episode of the Vintage Collection Show here on YouTube. And once again with me today, I do have a couple of guys from the SWTVC Instagram group. John and Evan joined me last episode. Tyler's been on a previous episode when we had Jason from Yakface on, and John Miko, you joined me probably about a month ago now, wasn't it? I think. Yeah, all good. So we've got you guys. John, John Miko, do you just want to give the people a brief summary of who you are and what you represent?
Sure, I represent West Side. You know, Tyler, you know what that means. John Miko here from the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Facebook group. Many of you know me from there. I think we're nearing 13,000 members. And I'm excited to be here again. So thanks for inviting me. I do want to say a quick thing, Tim. Is it possible for Lando to still join us?
Yes, we've got one more space because I've still got the free version of StreamYard, but yeah.
Okay, so I'll send him it, and while the other guys can. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, then, guys, over to you.
All right. Well, do you want me to kind of just jump in and kind of start rattling off some stuff, or would you like our little names and hellos first?
just a quick introduction.
Quick introduction. All right. Well, first off, I'm Evan. I'm one of the guys over at SWTVC, Mile High Ground, and we just kind of are here to have fun and also try to make some noise so we can get Hasbro to, make some more figures that we can buy, because obviously we like to get rid of our money in ridiculous ways. So
yes, we'd like to give it to them if we can. So
yes.
That's the idea. And yeah, I'm John, also part of SWTVC. You might also know me as The Vintage Concepts on Instagram. Excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hey guys, I'm Tyler, one of the contributors for SWTVC. My personal collecting page is SW Collector 3.75. You can also find me over there. But glad to be here. Thanks for having us on, Bosk.
No problem. I feel a little bit out of place because I'm the only one with a British accent now. It's like a bit unnerving.
I can try it, but it's probably offensive. So.
It's like I've been transported somewhere else.
Invasion.
Yeah. Evan, so you've got some information for the guys watching at the moment. So basically, today's episode is all going to be about the March Madness bracket that the guys at SWTVC have been running. It's basically a bunch of polls which pits characters against each other until we whittle it down until you've got a final, basically. So do you want to just give a rundown of how that all started and the data and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. First off, thank you again for having us on and just being supportive of this project and having fun with us with it. And also thank you to John Miko for your incredible support and letting us invade your Facebook as well. We really appreciate that. On our we have the SWTVC podcast. I don't know if anyone here has listened to that at all, but on it, each episode begins with kind of an intro stating that our mission is to maintain the ongoing push and continued existence and expansion and success of the heritage scale of Star Wars collecting. We know that the community of TVC collectors is a large, diverse, and multi-generational group with, the incredibly deep roots in our childhoods and even our personalities sometimes. So our goal when we started all that was that August already, you guys?
Was it the page?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was a little bit of a...
Time flies. Our goal really was to create a fun space for 3 3/4-inch collectors to get photography, customs, thoughts, community, whatever out there on Instagram, along with like-minded folks. Very similar to what John's doing on Facebook. Very similar to your YouTube channel, Tim. Really just kind of wanting to highlight that stuff because there's so many Black Series groups on social media. 6-inch collectors are very well represented and also very well represented by Hasbro. So we had this idea. If you're not familiar, I had to explain this one to our buddy Lewis that's also on our team, the March Madness Bracket in the States. There's the March Madness NCAA basketball tournament. We had an idea for this kind of thing where, it's like 64 teams and they play down the bracket in a tournament. So we kind of were testing out the engagement of that and having some fan votes on Instagram as we were growing. I think we're nearing 5,000 followers right now. Stop me if I'm too boring. But so we were growing and we were doing fan vote Fridays, kind of trying to figure out, out of small subsets of characters. Like, for example, we had one where the community submitted, like users and followers submitted their top 5 wants of Jedi or top 5 wants of Sith that they want to see in the vintage collection. John Linkus was great at putting together little card backs for us for those figures that won. And it was a lot of fun. It kind of had a good discussion about it and we're able to bring something there and get people thinking about what kind of things we could prioritize. So we had the idea for doing a March Madness bracket back in September or October already, and we kind of were putting things together. And as the idea evolved, we figured out another part of our mission is not only highlighting vintage collection figures and collectors, but providing informative pieces and little history lessons about the vintage collection and the history of Kenner vintage, along with every 3 3/4-inch thing in between. John here is like a mustachioed Star Wars collecting encyclopedia. So his contributions to researching and putting together little think pieces cannot be overstated. That's why we started putting stuff out like Balance the Scales, which was looking at figures represented in maybe Black Series and not represented in the modern super articulated 3 3/4-inch line. And then also we followed that with Finish the 96, where John painstakingly went through and put together, yes, that's our shirt for that. John put together painstakingly put together these thorough presentations about which original 96 Kenner characters aren't present in the modern TVC line and where we stand with it currently and some things we could maybe prioritize or ask Hasbro for. Tim, you were on our podcast about that, actually. Thank you much. And also Lando, I know you're here now. You were on that too. And that was pretty fun to talk about. So lastly here, it's just like all this segued into January. We put out the call on Instagram on our growing community and also with Miko's blessing in the Facebook group of having people submit a ranked list of their top 25 personal vintage collection wants. We even gave away extra entry slots in our giveaway for a Mint and Blocks Millennium Falcon, which that went to an awesome guy named Joel over on Instagram, Radis4Stad. Congratulations. His kids love it. We got a lot of great info from all of these lists, and John will certainly cover all that here in just a sec. But after the month and a half of having that open, we crunched all the numbers, used that to calculate the most requested figures that kept popping up. And after we did that, we were able to place the top 64 onto a bracket. And we used the same seeding system universally used for brackets. So we did not make any of the choices on the bracket. We did not set up any of the matches. So if you're upset with any of the matchups, I promise it wasn't our fault. Our goal is really just to find a way to amplify the voice of the community with our little sample size in fun and interesting ways to foster this kind of discussion and showcase the incredibly diverse collecting base and the different wants and needs we all have, be it background characters, skiff guards, Cantina aliens, sequel trilogy figures, droids, whatever. One thing that's apparent, though, looking at this bracket, all of us being a little underserved right now. So we want to bring awareness to the fact that we want more TVC. There's a customer base. Sure, we disagree on many things as individuals, but it's nice to sometimes come together around one thing. And at worst, now Hasbro has seen a list of 64 characters that are almost universally agreed on that we would like to see in one form or another. So it's not about would you rather, but more what figures are you prioritizing, and what figures are the community in general prioritizing in terms of general wants. So that was my little spiel. I'm so sorry for taking up the time. I hope that cleared up a little bit.
I'd just like to say that I don't know who it is, but we've got like some kind of audio tapping or
Tippy
something.
tap.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who it is, but I've tried to like mute you one by one, but I'm not really too sure who it is. But hopefully it won't carry on.
Okay.
I think we had the same when it was Tyler when we were on with Jason. We're having like a sort of clicking noise.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Are we able to mute ourselves when we're not talking? Maybe. Would that help?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Tyler?
Yeah, I can.
Or maybe, Lando's muted. I don't know who it is.
I think it started before Lando got in, but it should be okay. It shouldn't be too annoying.
Okay.
All right then. So we had a question there from Daniel Chart saying, how did you come up with the pairings in the last 64 brackets? Some tough choices in there.
Well, like Evan said, do you want to go over it again? Because basically, after the list, we ranked the top 64 figures. And then when creating the bracket, correct me if I'm wrong, Evan, you put number 1 against number 64.
Yeah,
number
just
2
the
against
standard
63
bracket. So it's like,
well, for people that don't know,
the higher seeds go against the lower seeds, and as you get into the middle of the group, the gap starts closing a little bit. So I think one of the first round had like Bo-Katan versus Shakti. Was that?
Yeah, and Bo-Katan was number 1, sorry, and Shakti was number 64, and then so like the 8th from the top goes against the 8th from the bottom, which that's how we got Dooku versus Velkin Tezeri, however you want to say it, which we will be discussing that here shortly. Yeah. Welcome, Lando.
Hello, Lando.
So yeah, should we just get into the votes?
Yeah, do it. Let's do it.
All right. So on the upper left of the bracket, which you can download at swtvc.net, and I think we've all shared it as well.
Yes.
But
the
first matchup,
John, for putting that together. You did a killer job with that.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I put together the bracket, and then I put together a bunch of the head-to-head images that we've been posting up there. So we've been doing 4 matchups a day. Day 1 was Bo-Katan Kryze versus Shakti, and Bo-Katan is winning on both platforms pretty easily. Yeah, so we have the votes on our Instagram stories and in John's Facebook group. Kanan Jarrus versus Biker Scout. Kanan Jarrus is the winner of that one. The next one, we had a little bit of one winner on Facebook, and the other winner on Instagram was Miggs Mayfeld versus the Purge Trooper. The overall winner was Miggs Mayfeld, who won on Facebook, and then the Purge Trooper won on Instagram. And then Lobot versus the Bestman Security Guard, which is one of those, it seems like we planned that, but that was a coincidence. Lobot won in both places quite easily. So
nice.
Yeah. So when we say they win, they'll advance to the next section of the bracket, and then I think it'll be Bo-Katan versus Mayfeld is what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then some of them are a little bit out of order. Yeah, Lobot versus Ezra, I think, who we did a little bit out of order.
But I can't stress enough, we didn't choose these matchups. We wouldn't torture you like that, or at least purposefully.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think? Who'd you guys vote for in these? How do we want to start?
On the first matchups.
Like the day that,
I'm trying to remember.
Well, some of them it's hard to choose. Some of them there's no clear winner. Like for Kanan versus the Biker Scout, for instance. Like we have Kanan in the Rebels line, in the 5 POA line, so he does exist as a 3.75-inch figure, but it's limited articulation, animated style. And the Black Series got a really nice 6-inch super articulated realistic version of him within the last Well, it was like 5 years ago, but then they repainted them all last year. So yeah, the Rebels crew did really well throughout the voting, and now they're doing well in the brackets. Which, yeah, I don't know, because I think for a lot of the other media, it's kind of spread. We've got the main characters. For Clone Wars, we've got the heavy hitters, but not a lot of the background or secondary characters. With the animated line, they stopped making stuff basically after season 4-ish. That's kind of when they stopped doing a really comprehensive animated line. So a lot of the choices you'll see coming up come from later in there. But yeah, Mandalorian characters are doing super well. Mayfeld versus the Purge Trooper was super close, though.
Yeah, it was like almost split down the middle.
Yeah, like I said, one on Facebook, one on Instagram, but in both places they were pretty close to each other.
John, what was the overall on that? Like
Mayfeld.
Yeah.
I don't know percentage. Miggs has 952 votes versus 795 for the Purge Trooper.
Wow.
So that's pretty close. Like for instance, Bo-Katan got 1,428 versus Shock T's 337. So that was a pretty clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bo-Katan has never been made in 3 3/4 at all. Whereas Shock T hasn't been in the vintage collection. It would be nice if it was prequel Jedi included in the line at today's standards of quality. But yeah, and yeah, maybe the Mandalorian characters did really well because it's such a recent property. Maybe it's just because it's something that everybody can kind of agree on. Fans, whether you're an animated fan because it's bringing in Ahsoka and Bo-Katan and stuff like that, or it's got a lot of old school fun. It's got a lot of new fun stuff. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting how the Mandalorian characters did hold a pretty good weight, other than Miggs on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the only one that kind of so far? I'm looking at the bracket. Hold on. Sorry.
There's one thing on Instagram too is there's a lot of trooper people on
yeah,
Instagram.
good point.
Which that's totally great. That's not me trying to have any kind of slight there. I just know that people are more prone to trooper photography. I know our Trooper Tuesdays on SWTVC are usually one of our busier days when we're posting submissions from folks.
I think if Mayfeld had been in his tank driver apparel instead of his season 1 apparel, that could have gone very differently. I know personally, I was not a fan of his character in season 1. I didn't really care for that episode. I didn't even care for his whole crew, honestly. I thought it was one of the weaker episodes in the season. But his episode in season 2 totally changed my perspective on the character, and I like the character a lot more now. So that can be a factor in all of these matches. Is the appearance, like the outfit that the character is in, can definitely have a significant factor.
So you didn't like his guns on his back and all that, then? No.
I mean, that was cool. It was just the character himself.
Predator gun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to take the Boston accent seriously in Star Wars. No offense to any people from Boston. You're great. We love you. But, it's just something new we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
In Star Wars. It's like,
have you seen his rant on it?
No.
He has like a rant how people were like, fans were coming up to him saying that they couldn't, like, same thing. They really couldn't deal with the Boston accent. And his whole rant was like, what, a British accent's okay, but not a Boston? Yeah. And then he was like, you got freaking a dog talking, he's like talking about Chewie, just like blurting out like, and he's like, oh, and it's hilarious. Look it up. It's pretty.
Yeah, cool. I've seen that. It's good, isn't it?
I mean, instead of hanging out at the cantina, maybe he hangs out at the Dunkin' Donuts over there. I don't know.
Yeah.
The galaxy runs on Dunkin'.
Yeah. So yeah, there were. There were 3 original 96 figures in these matchups. The Biker Scout lost to Kanan because we have, we've had several over the years, and I know Tyler wants a new one.
I voted Biker Scout.
Okay.
I would like Kanan, of course.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, obviously, and we're going to talk about brackets and the fact that at some point you're going to get two characters that you're really, really wanting to go through to the next round, and then the two next ones that might be against each other, not so much. So it's one of those things where the person that gets eliminated that you're really gutted for, that probably would have gone further in the bracket. But Biker Scout won for me because I would just prefer characters from the films rather than animation. But I do like the animated characters and the animated, not the animated style figures, but when they come into the vintage collection, like they've done with Wolf and the ARC Troopers and things like that, they're really, really cool. So, but as soon as he comes up against the Biker Scout, it's like, I'd love a new Biker Scout, man. So, see you later, Kanan.
Yeah, my reasoning for Kanan over the Biker Scout is that I kind of feel that a Biker Scout, especially with Mandalorian, is something that's already more likely. So I was getting a little strategic with it, with kind of, sometimes you have to do that with the vote, is I voted for Kanan because I don't think he's as high up on Hasbro's radar already, where it's like, I think a Scout Trooper would be something that's more likely to get at least repacked or a new mold, a new sculpt in the near future, as opposed to seeing a new Kanan, unless we begged for it.
My pick on the Biker Scout was twofold. Number one, if they make an all new mold, they're going to get a lot of mileage out of that. Okay, they're going to get a lot of profit out of that. They can repaint it for the next 10 years or more, 15 years, and get a ton of profit out of it. The same way that they're going to from the Rogue One Stormtrooper VC-140 mold, right?
Yeah.
Also, I would like them to know, from my perspective, there needs to be a new Biker Scout from the ground up, because, yes, the one from 2012 in the Toys R Us, the one that came with the definitive swoop bike.
Speeder bike.
They did retool it and update the articulation a little bit. I still don't think it's a thank you. Yes. Very good, John. It's a good figure, but I think it could be better. It could have swivel hips. It could have rocker ankles. It could have ball wrists. I think that it deserves those things. It's such an iconic trooper, and I think we deserve a new one. But I understand the desire for Kanan as well, obviously.
And because there's the rumor now that Yakface put out a few weeks ago that we're going to get a Jedi Fallen Order version of the Biker Scout in the Gaming Greats Vintage Collection subheader. My guess is it's going to be the old one again.
Yeah.
Hopefully they take the opportunity to do a pre-paint sort of situation where they release the lesser declared version first and then get a regular version out. That's the dream, but I don't know.
The thing is with those Gaming Greats is they will, to begin with, I feel, and this is the feeling I was getting from Jason, is that they will mirror what the Black Series did and be repaints essentially to start with, and then if they're successful, then maybe you might see some new sculpts come in later on.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, but
yeah.
Real quick, John. So as we're going down the bracket, we're just going down the left side of the bracket, correct?
Yeah. I mean, depends on how much time we have, but yeah.
Well, so if anybody at home is following,
following along. I think the first couple of days we got mixed up a little bit on some of the matchups, but we're all good. So yeah, on the second day, if we want to move on, unless anybody has anything to say, we had another Rebels character versus a trooper. It was Ezra Bridger versus the Mud Trooper from Solo, which was 874 to 699, so fairly close. And then we have Tim's favorite character, Pong Krell, against Plo Koon, and Pong won that pretty handily. And then two Inquisitors matched up. The Grand Inquisitor won against the second sister, Zari Carlo, our fellow SWTVC member.
That surprised me, actually, that Grand Inquisitor won out, because I like both.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that second sister is such a popular character from a more recent property that it was like, huh, all right, didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
I just see I'm the old dude that doesn't play video games anymore, so she does nothing for me. Like, I don't know anything about her other than like there's a 6-inch figure of her and she was in a commercial.
Yeah.
So
well, shoot Carlo a message and he'll rant at you for the next 4 days about why you should have voted for second sister.
Well, I have an affinity to the Grand Inquisitor because of his arc in Rebels.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, because the second sister, if you ever play the game, I mean, her story is pretty interesting too.
Cool.
And that, it's a lot of fun new characters and stuff. And maybe as the years go by, the desire for that will decrease. But the fact that we're getting supposedly, rumored one Biker Scout from there, hopefully that means that's the start of getting some newer Fallen Order figures. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then the last matchup. Sorry.
I was just gonna say they're both fallen Jedi, John. But it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a lot of desire for both in the community. I think it does make sense that the Grand Inquisitor would come out on top since he's, the head honcho Inquisitor. That does make sense. And I guess if they're going to start making Inquisitors in TVC, they should probably start with the Grand Inquisitor, right?
Yeah.
Is that not the same dude from Rebels or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grand Inquisitors of Rebels. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was just the Inquisitor for season 1, and then when the other Inquisitors came in, he was like retroactively named the Grand Inquisitor.
Ah. Thank you for the education.
And then yes, and then the last matchup, which we can talk about all of them, but was now Miko's favorite, Dooku versus Velkin Tazeri.
I really came on just to see John's reaction.
I hate to tell you, but Count Dooku won that one pretty easily.
Okay. So
yes.
I'm going to whine for a bit. And I do like the discussion we had and the brainstorming session we had where we're going to make Velkin t-shirts. And then it spun into, I think, John with the idea of like getting like a tank top, like a sleeveless version. And
Yeah.
I want to like make it so it looks like his actual like chest armor or shirt. And we're going to get some slogans on it and we're going to sell them. And someday I'll take a picture together and maybe get figure made.
Yeah, Hasbro.
That's the dream.
Yeah, Hasbro. If you want Miko to go away, make a Velkin Tazeri.
I'm going to start the Chris Swansky. If I don't get this figure, I quit.
It'll be the new running of the Wilbro hoods at Celebration. You could have the suns out, guns out of the Velkin Tazeri.
Suns out, guns out. Exactly.
They're making Palpatine, so Chris can't quit.
Yeah.
So this was another one for me where I was just so split because I've spent the last, I don't know, year or so on my channel mentioning Count Dooku, and because I've got this thing about missing villains in the vintage collection in general. But I do want the Velkin character because it's one of those sort of blink and you're missing characters that we all want to fill out the rest of the scene,
Yeah, because he's the last person on the prisoner skiff in Return of the Jedi that has yet to be made. Like they made Vidane the pilot for the first time in 2019 in that 3-pack, which was 2 repacks, and him, which was a retool. And they put that out alongside the skiff and alongside the sail barge, and that was kind of hopefully not the last hurrah, but it seemed like that would have been the opportune time to get him out. And then the other thing with that is, as we've discussed, as people have discussed with like the Tonica sisters or some of the background characters from the original trilogy, it's unclear if they have the likeness rights to some of the background humans because they might not have gotten them in the 70s because they didn't think they'd be making figures of every single one. But by Return of the Jedi, they might have known more. But so we haven't really seen any, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen any human background characters from Jabba's palace or the skiff or sail barge yet. We've seen a lot of aliens. Like with the Geonosis Arena, we got all the cool aliens first, and then by the time those were all done, they got to the humans, which they just look like us in Jedi robes or whatever. And then Velkin could, as like we mentioned with Lando on our podcast, he was they used that costume a few times throughout Jabba's palace to recycle costume parts or whatever. But he's Weeba, another Rancor keeper, and then he's Nizuk Beck, who I think is on the sail barge. There's a picture of him canoodling with Sice Noodles.
And he's the one that Luke took his blaster in the
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his blaster that Luke took. So it's like, man, at least make the ones that interacted with Luke.
And that was Tame Dren Garen also did pretty well in the votes.
Yeah,
and he's the guy that shoots Luke's hand on the sail barge.
Yeah.
So I think those guys would be the priority.
If I can just interject for just very quickly? Sorry, guys. There's a few people in the chat that have turned up, later than the start, and they're wondering what's going on and what we're discussing. So, on Instagram and Facebook, the guys at SWTVC were running these polls for March Madness, and it's a bracket, and we're just discussing the first round of results that have happened this week. I want to share this all the time, but it's quite small for me to share it. And then the little camera things are quite small on the left-hand side if I do that on the screen. So I'm not going to share this screen the whole time, but just to give you an idea, that's the bracket. And as you can see, 2 characters come up against each other and they move on to the next round. And then eventually you've got 2 finalists, which then you have to pick a final winner. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, we're up to Luke Skywalker and that tomorrow, is it?
Tomorrow is going to be over on the right side, which will be.
Oh, right. So
we're about halfway. We have 2 more days to finish the first round.
Right. Okay.
So we have all the ones.
The Dark Troop. Yeah. Sorry, the Dark Trooper. Everything's been done, hasn't it? Yeah. So at the moment we're still talking about on the right hand side. Sorry, Rod. He understands. That's good. I'm glad I've explained it if at all possible. But it's just a fun thing that the guys have been doing to just try and get some sort of data from the community about which characters that we want as a community we want made. And we know it's not a foolproof system, and we know it's not the full data or anything like that, but it's just a bit of fun. And we just wanted to go over the results basically in this live stream and discuss why we think certain characters have won and why we think certain characters haven't, and argue our points for why Ponkrell shouldn't be made. But anyway, I'm going to turn the share off now because there's no results on there anyway. So, but if you want to see some of the things that have been going on, go on to SWTVC's Instagram while you're watching this, if you possibly can, and then you'll be able to see who's been pitted up against each other. And as we're going through it, the guys will give you some data about how far ahead one character was compared to another in terms of a percentage of votes and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to turn the share off now. So, but that's that. So sorry, guys.
No.
Yeah, if I could just say, John, to what you guys were saying, it's look, a lot of the themes were, do I have to choose? I want both, and right, that's the point is to pick the ones that you want more, right? And the whole idea is they're all the top 64, but when it comes to yes, Dooku should have already been in the line, right? Because a lot of you have said, I'm just echoing what everyone said, that he's a main villain in one of the movies or one of the medias, and he should be represented in the line. Then, like what Tim's saying and what John's saying is, in a world building view, we're missing the one hole in our skiff, and a lot of us have spent a lot of money on barges, maybe multiple barges, and God knows how many skiffs I have. At this point. I've got a whole basement full, but thank you, GameStop. But at the same time, it's just he's a human character, and that's interesting that you point that out, John, because we were very lucky to get Vidain, and it was awesome to get Vidain, and he was kit bashed. But Aliens as a whole has been lacking in TVC 2.0. Mm-hmm. So it was awesome to get him in whatever form we got him in, and I think the mold and something of that serves him well. But it's just that is a big question. Is there an issue with getting some of these humans out? We'll throw away the whole what we sell, right? Because I think there's smart ways to do that with some of these characters, whether it's carded 3-packs, exclusives, stuff like that. But it's interesting that we're getting aliens because maybe there's not issues with what was it you said, rights, or
the likeness rights?
Likeness rights, but at the same time, it is some of these non-primary human type characters. If it's not like Imperial Trooper or Rebel Trooper, is would it be successful? You know, so.
Right. And then, I mean, because with the skiff cards pack, and one was, you know, new, partially a new tool, and two were old, just on a new card. They had to do 2 runs of that because it sold well enough. I don't know what the number. I don't know if they were huge runs, but they had to rerun it a year after it was first out, and I mean, it's still sold out. So clearly, there's some kind of market for that.
Yeah, it's still selling now. We've Forbidden Planet over here are getting more stock in on. I believe it's the 21st of March, and I see them go for on eBay for more than their retail value even now, even though we know they're coming. So I think it's been extremely popular, that set.
Yeah. So
Plus, it's packaged really nicely. I mean, those 3 packs are a thing from the late 70s, early 80s, from the Kenner line. They used to do that kind of thing. So it's just a classic throwback as well, you know. Plus, it's not like the special action figure sets where you get 3 in a pack. You're actually getting the card backs as well, which is, when they did that, I thought that's awesome, you know. And they should do more of that. They should do more of that sort of thing. I mean, back when I think they were like Canadian Sears exclusives and stuff, they did like 7 packs of them, like 7 Empire Strikes Back figures in a big long box, all carded figures, you know. Imagine that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Whole Cantina aliens in one of those or something. Be brilliant.
Evan, you're muted if you're trying to talk, by the way.
Sorry, I was just saying I bought 3 of those things of the skiff pack because I needed one to keep in its box, and then one to pull the carded figures out and have with my other carded figures, and then one to open. Because you know, that's $150 that I didn't need.
And you're not going to be alone in that. I mean, there would have been loads of people that did that, you know. So, and Hasbro know that. So, you know, I'm actually quite surprised they haven't done it again since, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so if they wanted to get Velkin out, I think they could, you know, some of those weak-way skiff cards from VC 1.0 are still pretty hard to get a hold of. So I think they could repack those maybe, or something like that. There's a few others we need. There's quite a few that have still been completely unmade from the second skiff. Like a lot of those. There's like 3 humans on that one, and then we need a new Barada, who is another 96 figure. So
Zoran.
Yeah. So in a perfect world, you know, they would do some of those with, or you know, the weak way that falls out of the sail barge window. They have options here if they wanted to, you know, reuse some of their tooling, but you know, and it's hard to. Sorry.
I was going to say, John, we did a couple concepts of, hey, if they could keep repacking a couple of these and do some either, you know, partial tooling or, you know, at least one new tool, and just keep recycling in a couple of those repacks that everybody wants. So
yeah, because I mean, maybe they're worried that somebody like Velkin might not be the hottest seller on his own, but I think in a world building pack like another skiff card pack, I think it's doing well now, and I think it could do well again. So that's how I would like to get him out. But
yeah, if you put the main weak way in there, for example, as a repack, and then possibly I don't know, Kithaba or something, I don't know, but or make Barada out of Kithaba somehow, Kit Bash, and then give yourself the all new Velkin, like
or bring Garen from Legacy Collection in.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah,
these they're carded and loose collectors win.
Yeah.
These. So, Customizers too. Customizers love these figures. Brock Starsher is very customizable. A lot of these guys are. So, and I was going to show really quick. I had a custom. This is kind of a funny story. I had a custom Velkin made, and I have his body being molded. Long story short, poor Stan, R.I.P. He was doing the body for me, but we'll get it done. But what's funny is I looked at this at one point and I was like, wait a minute, he doesn't have a scarf on. He gave me Nizuk. Looks like I gotta buy a Falcon now. That's another $100. It's all right. So look at both of them. Maybe by then we'll have the Falcon. Yeah, right. That's a way, like we've been talking about, like Lando talked about on your podcast, where you can reuse something, or they can do a marketing strategy on them, right? And switch out the name and screw the scarf, and just give it Nizuk and Velkin, and you put your own little scarf on the guy.
when they released Brock Starship the first time, it was just Jabba's skiff guard, so they could have a removable scarf if they really wanted. We don't know what he's got going on his face under there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's possible.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, like, have the carded collectors chase both. So then,
oh sure, yeah,
you're justifying the volume that they're making, because a lot of these they make a pretty big volume, and that's always the concern, right? Is it enough to get all of the collector base?
I mean, card variants are also dope. I mean, I know I'm going to be hunting that fabled orange Boba Fett for a while.
I thought you had him in a case.
Yeah, the Schrodinger's Fett. I've got a sealed case, and it's an orange Fett in there until I open it. So,
love it.
But yeah, I mean, it's hard to put somebody like Dooku against Velkin.
Yeah,
and that's part of
Yeah. Guys in the chat, I mean, as we're going through these, feel free to write who you voted for, and if you haven't voted, write in the chat who you would have voted for as we're going through them. So at the moment, who are we on at the moment? We're on Velkin versus Dooku. We went back, didn't we? Versus Dooku, yeah.
Also, speaking of voting, most of the Instagram polls have closed. You can still vote in today's poll. The polls on Facebook will not close until we move on to round 2. So you can still vote on Facebook if you have not already. The easiest thing to do is go to John Miko's Facebook page and Lando's. Sorry, excuse me.
John.
Go to the Facebook page and search for John Miko in the search bar on the page, and you can see all of the polls that he's listed over the past few days and vote in them if you have not already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you can go to topics and polls. I've tagged them all as polls. So whatever way gets you there. But yeah, I will say it's I'm frustrated with the lack of capability on Facebook for polling. You can't close them. You can't add pictures.
Yeah.
Terrible. So sorry.
Can you increase your volume a bit at SWTVC? There's 3 of them here. Who? Do you mean Tyler?
Maybe it's me.
Your volume. Oh, your mic volume.
I forgot to put SWTVC in my name. I'm sorry, guys. I failed. But... So yeah.
You use that mustache, bro. You're fine.
Thanks.
So who we up? Who we on next now?
Well, I want to say real quick, just to show, because Tim, I know you're such a huge fan of Ponkrell. Here's a beautiful custom that they can just bring out in the line. your favorite character right here,
How about a fan show and you trigger him? Rude.
I just want to show how cool it could be.
I don't know if you guys follow Customs for the Kid, but he made him and his son Elias, Brian Fulton. They made a absolutely stunning Ponkrell. So
yeah, he does some great work for the Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Is my volume a little better now, or about the same?
No, you're good. You're good.
There's still crackling going on. I don't know what's that's about, but
I don't really know. I can't work out who it is. I've muted myself. It's not mine. I don't think I've muted. Yeah, it's not as bad as it was.
No,
yeah.
It's the what is it? StreamYard overlords just checking in on nerds, making sure we're okay.
So the matchups for day 3, there were now Tyler's actual favorite, Grand Admiral Thrawn versus the Mythrol, the Horatio Sands character, a couple of blue guys together.
And it was
Grand
a
Admiral.
Runaway for the Mythrol.
Yeah. Well, it's because the Mythrol was the first person to ride on the Razor Crest as a passenger, and yet we are getting the carbon.
I was going to say we're technically getting one.
Yeah, that's true. So beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Next up was Luke Tatooine, another original 96 figure versus the Clone Trooper 332nd Company from Clone Wars Season 7. And those were different on the different platforms. Luke won on Facebook and the Clone won on Instagram, but the Clone was the overall winner by quite a bit, actually. And then A New Hope versus Clone Wars was Moma Nadon Hammerhead, another 96 figure, who won on Facebook, versus Gar Saxon from Clone Wars, who won on Instagram and won overall. And then two Rogue One guys, Director Krennic versus Saw Gerrera, who have both been in 5 POA, but never super articulated, and it was Krennic won that one. But that was the closest one of those 4.
Yeah.
Do you think
nothing too shocking there? But
Yeah,
sorry, what?
do you think people have Luke fatigue, or do you think it was just like a more demographic thing on Instagram versus Facebook? What do you think?
That's been a lot of what has been talked about in the comments in both places. Of I think maybe the Facebook demographic is more geared towards original trilogy stuff. I don't know if it's all those damn youngins on Instagram voting for their clones.
You.
The Utes.
Yeah, the Utes. But it's the same with both Luke and Hammerhead. We've had a lot of them in the modern line over the years, or at least a handful of them, but none in Vintage Collection proper, and none for 15, 16, 17 years for both of them. At least a completely new version. So yeah, again, we want all of them, but
right.
Yeah, nothing hugely surprising on there. If Facebook's still open, so frankly, if you want to get over there and give 600 more votes to both of them, they could win. But
I think Evan had a good point too earlier, where when you're picking a lot of these, you're kind of going through different thoughts, right? Like this one's probably going to get made, so I want to give some love to this one, or we haven't had a definitive one of this one. I'd like to pick this one. Maybe with Luke, in some ways, people also think it's got to be coming. He's the main character of the OT, and
fingers crossed for VC 200.
Yeah. And I'm sure Hasbro knows they need a Farm Boy Luke in the line. They only had the Death Star Escape one, right? So maybe that goes into some thoughts, some thinking too. And obviously, more recent media and the 332nd being in that and deserving a place in the line. There's a Black Series figure.
Yeah, and both
Evan, you're muted, or Tyler, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I muted Tyler because I think I've worked out it's his audio that's just crackling a bit. So I thought, sorry, mate, we just missed what you said because I muted you. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. So I do think that plays a significant role, and again, it comes into our campaign of balance the scales. When people see that the other line has a figure, we want that figure too, and so people are going to vote accordingly. So I do definitely think that is a contributing factor.
Yeah, and I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say with the balance scales too. It's like we can even see that in action right now with the fact that the Vintage Collection Return of the Jedi Boba Fett and Black Series Return of the Jedi Boba Fett are both hitting roughly the same time. They're both all new sculpts, all new figures, and just incredible. And it's one of those where I remember when the Black Series one was announced, you had the 3 3/4 inch group just being like, oh great, we just got a repack of that crappy one from 12 years ago. And but so then we got that one and it was great. And then it kind of goes the other way around too, where you look at Black Series, they're still waiting on a Clone Wars mall. They've had Clone Wars Season 7 Ahsoka for a while. However, it's a kit bashed figure and was kind of phoned in. And whereas the Vintage Collection was blessed with a new sculpt. So yes, we don't get many of those. So we'll take the wins when we can.
They didn't get the ARC Troopers either.
Oh,
yeah, that's
really?
True.
They didn't get the 3 ARC Troopers, did they?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because they were super, why can't we have these in the Black Series? It's like, well, hang on a minute.
Black Series has a really good Captain Rex, and we have a really terrible Captain Rex that we just got repacked, and we're stuck with it. So that's the bracket because we want a new one. He was requested that much that he's still in the top once.
And I think, some of it, the Clone Wars, maybe it's the demographic, maybe it's, balance the scale stuff. But I think the Clone Wars Season 7 was pretty popular. And I think, we see a lot of even younger guys coming up and really loving the Clone Wars that grew up with that series and that animated line that are collecting on a bigger scale now, maybe. But But yeah, we definitely need the 332nd to go with that Ahsoka and that mall.
That's a slam dunk on army building too.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else on day 3? I think we're.
No.
As far as Thrawn, I mean, people have said, do we need the live action version that's inevitably coming at some point, or the Rebels version / Legends version, whatever. I don't know. Get them all.
Somebody said in the comments, we should wait till the live action one is debuting, to see whatever we get, and if we get one, what is it going to be, right? So.
Yeah, like it might not. He might be wearing he'll probably be wearing something similar to his iconic white look, but it might not be the exact same. Or they can do like they've done, where they kind of release, to use one of their favorite words, adjacent. A live action adjacent version where we just got the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett after using the Mandalorian. We got Return of the Jedi Palpatine after he's in Rise of Skywalker, that sort of thing. So maybe we'll still get one when he comes in live action, but who knows?
You'd hope that he would look how we think he'd look. Bo-Katan, they did that really well, didn't they?
Yeah. So on to
So I just wanted to mention. I just saw a comment here. Sorry, you guys. It was Ian Grayson boils down to what era of Star Wars should define the future of the line. Yes, that one. And I kind of earlier at the very beginning of this, when I was kind of ranting on for 2 minutes, was just kind of about look at even just the group of the 6 of us, is we all have very different focuses, very different wants, even just based on this bracket. Very much of it's like not just one era is going to define the vintage collection, at least we hope, in an ideal world, but very much we want, a diverse line so that everybody can feel like they're getting served properly. Because right now it's like we all are starved, and we now feel like it's a competition over like, well, I want this Mandalorian figure, so let's never get this sequel figure, or I want this Rebels figure, but we're now never going to get this background OT alien. It's very much like we want all of these, and it's very much how do we just make enough noise for Hasbro to be like, oh yeah. I mean, if they were tomorrow just be like, hey, we're going to make all 64 of these figures over the next 3 years, put up or shut up, I'd put up a lot of money for that. So
yeah, I mean, it's better. It's better all round that there's people even bothering to do a bracket and talk about it and do live streams and have massive Facebook groups and what have you. I think I said this to John on our private messaging the other day. I just said, at the end of the day, it's just all noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't want to sort of slam ever the Black Series, because I do collect a little bit of it. It's not my main thing.
I don't.
I buy some of them because I can't get that figure in the scale I want. So it almost forces me to do it. But what's happened historically with me is that once that figure has been brought out in the vintage collection, then I get rid of the Black Series one because I have no use for it anymore. But what I was saying to John was that, yes, the Black Series people, and I don't want to sort of like pigeonhole people or anything, but the Black Series guys, they have their amazing photographs that they take of all their figures, and they have their Instagram groups and all that. But I personally don't feel that there's as much passion at the moment that the 3.75 inch community is, because it's almost like we've been backed into a corner, so we're coming out fighting, whereas they've got no need to. They get everything they want.
Yeah, they say slow down, Hasbro, stop making so much stuff, and we go,
I said to John, like, they probably, like last year especially, I think would probably maybe the first year where they might have got a bit annoyed with the amount of releases and the amount of repacks. It's probably like 75% repacks for the Black Series last year, and there was just so much product.
It was a rough one as someone who is just on the edge of getting rid of my completionist tendencies. 2020 was a difficult year being a completist on the Black Series. I bought so many things I already had. So,
but I just think, like, they can't ignore a community that's just constantly noisy. They can't. And I think I think we're starting to see the fruits of that anyway. Patrick even came out and said that we're getting more this year than we have since it came back. So we'll have to see if that's the case. I think Jason said that there's still 15 figures unannounced still to come. You add that to what we've already got and what we know that's coming. We haven't had a vehicle announced yet. We haven't had another playset announced yet. There'll be a convention 3-pack, I'm sure. So there's loads of stuff to come. And I think if we just keep doing stuff like this, then it can't hurt, can it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big reason why we're doing the bracket and everything, to get people talking and excited and get the word out there.
But
exactly, yeah.
See, some of the contentions with things is you're picking between two, right? That was a joke I think I said to Evan in one of the chats. A Theodore Roosevelt quote, comparison is the thief of joy. It's like, this one's winning and I didn't choose it. You're taking away my joy.
Well, that actually, I mean, not that was the initial spirit of that, but that is exactly why I voted for Count Dooku and not Velkin Taziri, because I wanted you to be sad. Because I wanted you to not have a figure that you wanted.
How dare you? And that's, when it comes down to it, it's obviously a very fun exercise. It's just tough to you're picking some of these and you're battling yourself.
Yeah.
I had to choose between Ben Solo and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren.
You got two of you on your shoulder just like talking it out. Like, what am I gonna pick? Hey, I picked Zeb over Alu, and I got the 3rd degree from Lando. I guilty. Damn it. I'm 40. I'm like in the middle of all this, I'm just, OT, new media.
It would have been a lot easier if Hammerhead was up against Ben Solo, let's face it. But anyway, Lando, what do you think of all this? Like, have you just because you're new on the stream and I want to get you involved? We're all talking away here. Are you like an OT man, or are you video games or animation?
I'm OT. For like debut characters in OT are by far my number one want. Beyond that, debut prequel trilogy, then 96. As far as this poll, every decision I made as a head-to-head. Which one do I want to see as a figure? I didn't weigh in. This one's going to get made eventually, so therefore I'm going to vote for the other one. I used every head-to-head as that's the one I want more.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
More of them were debut characters, but I didn't do debut characters on every single one. So I think I picked Gar. Who'd Gar go up against?
Hammerhead.
Yeah, I did take Gar over Hammerhead. And, I like my 96 too, but Gar would be such a cool 375 figure. Sorry.
And this will shock you. I picked Hammerhead.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I did Gar, even though I'm wearing the shirt. But I can go to my
shelf.
shelf.
Why have I got you on the stream?
Well, because it's
right,
there's no one right answer for all this stuff, because I can go to my shelf and I can see Hammerhead, but I don't see Gar Saxon,
Yeah.
And that's very much it, like all 64. We won all 64.
Yeah.
But
they all ranked for a reason, is because they all need to be made and they're all important in their own individual way. Another point I wanted to make is that, when we say we want more vintage collection, Hasbro just kind of thinks, oh, okay, great. And then that's what led to the repack wave in 2018 of all things that we had just bought within the last 2 or 3 years. So this is kind of a way to say, we want this for this reason, and I know there's other things we can be doing as a community to get Walmart and Target on board and stuff, but it also starts with Hasbro needs to make product that people want to buy and are excited about. So that's kind of another reason that I'm trying to do this,
Yeah.
So
yeah. And Evan brought up a good point about, it needs to be a broad base of offering. And that's marketing 101. They know that. They're not gonna, as hot as the Mandalorian is, I'm sure it'll make up a decent part of the line. It's not in their best interest to just have that, right?
No.
right.
yeah,
You gotta bring on new customers, bring on different,
keep the old ones happy.
and keep the old ones happy. So good point.
Because as much as they want to keep all of us who've been collecting for 20 or 30 or 40 years in the game, the youths, you do have to bring in new fans that are excited about Mandalorian. And if I think we said on our podcast last week, if a kid loves Mandalorian and goes to the store and it's completely empty, that doesn't do anybody any good, because they're just going to give up. They're not going to go to Amazon or Dorkside, or they might, but who knows? So yeah, you got to.
Well, we've got
for everybody.
We've now got 10 carded figures, I think, in the Mandalorian, if you're counting Grief and the Child, right?
Mm.
I think that's 10. Plus, I don't count the carbonized figures. They're
What?
just-
Those are each worth like 3 figures each. They're so shiny.
But if you singular figures, 10. But if you think about how long the Mandalorian's been going for already, we're 2 seasons in. So you would expect there to be 10, wouldn't you? You'd expect there to be more.
You'd expect all the main characters to be present, maybe.
Because that was the other thing. Like when Rise of Skywalker was the first of the movies to not have its own basic line outside of the vintage collection. That was like, okay, whether you like it or not. There was no dedicated line for Mando, like there would have been for the other TV shows or anything like that.
Well,
So
I was just breaking this down in one of our groups. Is the vintage collection in the 3 3/4 inch scale is, I think, the only line. I mean, including like Sideshow, Figure Arts, Funko, the only line that does not have a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren from Rise of Skywalker, where it's like love or hate the movie. That's the main villain. That's a main character, and absent entirely from an entire scale, but present in every other, including Mission Fleet. Mission Fleet just got one.
Galaxy of Adventures when the movie came out.
Yeah. So anyway, and they got 2 actually. Mission Fleet or Galaxy Adventures got 2. They got an unmasked one as well. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I know it's not a very sequel heavy audience right now. So just wanted to whine a little bit about my boy Ben Solo.
On that, we did have some sequel characters on day 4. If we want to go to that, first matchup though was Hera from Rebels, Hera Syndulla versus Tessic Squidhead, another 96 figure. Hera won that one. Sorry.
I'm out.
And the live stream is ended.
What the?
2 aliens based on Jabba's palace designs, one literally, one spiritually.
Yeah.
And then from the sequel trilogy, from Rise of Skywalker, 2 heavy hitter characters that were not made: Emperor Palpatine, Sith Eternal from Exegol, versus Finn in his jacket, in his vest look, which was made as a Galaxy of Adventures figure. Palpatine won that one.
Sorry. Finn's supposed to be the guy. The one that was in the Walmart exclusive 3.75, the one with the orange jacket. Is that the one you mean?
No, I mean, sorry, I meant the vest, like his Episode 9 vest. He was made as a 5-inch figure, but not in any realistic form.
Right.
Yeah. And then there was because the only super articulated Finn we have is the Episode 7 look where he's wearing Poe's jacket.
Yeah.
Which
I actually quite like that figure.
It's a good figure. I mean,
the hips, but yeah.
Yeah. But Cad Bane versus Dryden Voss was the next one, and Cad Bane won that one, even though we have several animated figures of him, and one looks, it can kind of toe the line between animated and realistic. So I'm happy with him the way he is, and I'd like a Dryden Voss because I think he was on the bubble of not. He might have come out if they did another solo wave, but it didn't,
The Cad Bane could have been a Black Series effect as well.
Yeah, where we just got that. It's a nice figure, but
Cad Bane exclusive was pretty sweet, and I'm not a 6-incher, so
yeah. And then the final one from day 4 was Dark Trooper from Mandalorian versus Poe Dameron from Rise of Skywalker in his Indiana Jones looking outfit. Dark Trooper won that one, and that was kind of a. I want Poe, but that was kind of a blowout on that one.
Yeah.
That's the Uncharted.
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win that bracket? Thrawn or the Dark Trooper, man?
On that side,
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you who I picked, but
I just feel like that bracket there is probably the for me the most questionable for a Final 4 candidate. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Thrawn or Dark Trooper?
Yeah.
Thinking ahead on what's gonna happen.
And that's
sure.
We've gotten some Legends style Dark Troopers, but we've never got. I mean, obviously, we don't have a new one. We do have Thrawns over the years, so I voted for the Dark Trooper. I'll vote for Dark Trooper over Thrawn if it comes to it.
Thrawn was out in the half of the first round for me.
I also, Tyler's not here, so I can say I voted for Mithril in the first round.
He came up against Luke. He came up against Luke Skywalker, though. That's the thing. A new farm boy. I mean, that's like a massive thing for me. I think we need and as much as I want Grand Admiral Thrawn, if you said to me, because as Lando says, it's about I do it. Not that we've got countless Lukes before. It's what I want next. Yeah. And if you said to me, "Do you want a Grand Admiral Thrawn?" Yeah, of course I do. But do I want a brand new Luke farm boy more? Then yeah. So it's difficult, isn't it? But it's fun. It's fun doing it, man. But,
I feel awkward asking for another Luke Skywalker after they've just bombed us with Luke Skywalker after Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's fair. There has been a lot.
But they forgot that one,
Yeah.
I think we got 4. Right. We got Ceremony, Jedi Knight, X-Wing, and
Stormtrooper, and then Bespin Repack.
Stormtrooper.
The Bespin Reap. Yeah.
That's been a lot. Plus, there was a lot in Black Series too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those were peg warmers in the Black Series, weren't they?
Yeah, Yavin Luke notoriously, especially with the first run of it all having like 3 typos on the box.
Yeah, because they did it. It was a con exclusive, and then it was carried forward into a couple of waves, and it was like that's too many. But we're not here for Black Series though. Okay. Again, I want all of them.
So, John, will you just run down the left side again for anyone who's catching up of who the winners are down the left?
And round? I mean, they're the winners for now. I mean, like I said, if you
who's heading to
the voting?
Yeah, who's heading to the round of 32?
Yeah. So on the left side, we got Bo-Katan, Kanan Jarrus, Migs Mayfeld, and Lobot, Ezra Bridger, Pong Krell, Grand Inquisitor, Count Dooku, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Clone Trooper 332nd Company, Gar Saxon, Director Krennic, Harrison Dula, Emperor Palpatine Sith Eternal, Cad Bane, and the Dark Trooper.
That is pretty much completely opposite to everything I voted for. No, I'm joking. But some of it was right.
Well, we designed this to just exclude you, Tim.
You've been voted off the island. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll let someone else be host.
But like I said, let me stress this again for like the 4th time. We did not pick the matchups. It was purely the numbers that dictated where the matchups landed. So
Hasbro should make all of them.
Yeah.
So then onto the right side, we have who was the number 2 figure ranked overall when we did the top 25 stuff was Boba Fett Rearmored from Mandalorian versus Season 1 Grief Karga, and Boba Fett won that one. We just got both of those figures in the current wave. I got them like 2 days ago. But Grief is
both excellent.
Yeah, they're both amazing. Grief, this Grief Season 2 though is the smelliest figure I've ever.
Interesting.
Let's make that a gift. But I opened the figure and
does that?
Say what?
There's a guy. He's like a card sniffer, and then he like rips open the figures.
It just hits you in the face when you open it. It's impossible not to notice.
It's like
you're right.
It's like the TIE fight, the vintage TIE fighter pilot.
Oh yeah.
He apparently smells of strawberries.
Yeah.
This isn't strawberries, I can tell you that.
It's like gasoline or something. It's a gas leak.
It smells like one of those pieces of like a wood mask that you would get at like that's like doused in gasoline that you would get from like some tourist trap by a Mayan temple. Like that's odd.
Yeah.
I've reviewed the Grief card, but I haven't uploaded it yet. But I did find it funny that when you take his head off and then take his plastic robes off and then put his head back on, his neck's like this long.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed that last night. So he's going to be keeping that cape on.
Yeah, he's got to keep it on. It does not look right with it off.
Yeah, it's like Carl Weathers just kept his Apollo Creed physique, but only in the neck.
Isn't Best Leia have a long neck too in some shots or some angles? I don't know. Or was that just in the bubble?
Who's that? Sorry.
Bespin Escape Leia.
Oh, does she kind of?
I saw some side shots in the card on the bubble. I don't know if it was just like positioned wrong in the bubble, but
it may have been. That figure is not served well by the bubble that she's in on the card. from the squished hair to.
I don't have my opener yet, but I was like,
this figure got absolutely slated in the comments of my video.
Period.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Darkside got it early this time, so
yeah,
that's mine, but
thank you, Dorkside.
Yes. Not sponsored, but you know.
In the comments of my review, people did not like this figure whatsoever, which is a shame.
Yeah, she does a lot right, but does a lot wrong too. Boba Fett, on the other hand, I mean, not that we're talking about that one, but I mean, this is probably the best figure they've ever done, maybe, or top 10, probably. It's
right up there.
It's
right
stunning.
there.
It's seriously incredible. The quality on that figure. Yeah. And obviously, yes, he doesn't have the red outline, whatever you want to call it. But you know, small potatoes. You got paint, whatever. So yeah, we want
a running change for us to buy more. So
yeah.
I think we lost Lando.
Yeah, he wrote in the private chat. He said he had to run, but
okay.
Thanks for being on,
Tyler. When you want to chat, just let me know because I need to unmute you because it was your your audio that's crackling and stuff. So just put your hand up or something.
You're on notice.
But Tim, you know, you were saying that, and I saw someone else's comment too, saying what a lousy left-hand side of 32, and how it's very different from what you had said. You know, yeah, I get it. I do. It was hard. It was hard to choose, man. These were hard to choose, and that's again saying earlier. It was like the intention here wasn't to say either or. You can only have one or the other. It was just again like, what are your personal priorities? What do you think is interesting to see? And you know, and then getting everybody to submit all those things to us is really great. That we get to really just see, you know, who's in these like who voted for what, who's in these demographics. You know, why did they vote for it? So it's been useful. Trying to get a bunch of, you know, as meaningful of information as we can get in this experiment, to be able to, you know, not that I'm trying to overblow it or oversell it as being something that's like majorly important, but just so that we're all doing this, that we're on this live stream, that you guys are in the comments, that we're chatting about this, you know, again, we're all missing things that we want. And it's hard when we have so few figure slots every year that, you know, we'd love to have more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here's the thing with this bracket, okay? People are going to be upset. People are going to be sad. People
it's like sports.
That is the nature of a competitive bracket, okay? People are going to get knocked out. Characters are going to get knocked out. That's the point of this whole thing, is to try to do our best to gauge community prioritization on what they want to be made first. Not, okay, we don't want this one at all, because all of these figures, you know, 700, I'll reiterate for everybody, okay, over 700 characters got submitted into this, okay? The top 64 are ones that were repeatedly seen over and over and over again, and scored the highest for prioritization across the community, okay? So some of these pairings are going to be difficult choices, and that's because they're on this bracket for a reason. People want these figures, okay? So the ones that get knocked out, you know, it's not that we don't want those or we don't care about them. It's just that some characters are going to move forward and other ones are not, and that's what we want to see here. So,
two thoughts on that. Can I speak real quick?
Of course.
No.
Facebook and Instagram deserve a voice too, right? And I think, you know, there's a legacy of websites out there that have done their fair share of campaigning and polling and voicing, and there deserves to be a voice for the other outlets as well. And hopefully we can all come together at some point and do maybe a mega poll or something.
Yeah, because the way to make this even better is to get more and more participation, and you know.
Yeah. And if we do it again too, the more data, the better.
So one more thought. Hold on. I'm sorry. I had two. Were there any
muted up again?
Were there any upsets?
Like personally speaking?
From a seeding.
No. It's been a hard year, you know, so I've been upset a lot. But
I'm always upset.
Thank you.
There was certainly, I think Cobb Vance versus Jedi Temple Guard. That was an extremely close race, possibly the closest out of all of them so far.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that coming at all.
No.
Thought that that Vance was going to take that pretty easily, and I was wrong. The Jedi Temple Guard actually won, not by a lot. It was less than 100 votes, but he did win. But to swing it back to getting more participation next year, ideally, when we do this, what would be great is if all of our allies, all of our partners, we can all launch this on our respective sites and pages simultaneously to maximize participation across Bantha Skull, Yak Face, all these different pages. And then we can get a clearer picture of the broader community. We did our best with 2 platforms, but hopefully next year we'll get even more participation. So spread the word, guys.
Or just the new kids on the block.
Yeah, we're only in round 1, too. This is far from over. So we may continue to gain traction with this and continue to see vote participation go up, which is the goal. So
this is just the beginning.
Yes. In 2005, last time we saw you.
All right, I'm good, Tim. You can mute me again.
Yeah, I guess it's a bracket, as I've said, is fun. It's fun doing a top of something. So if you were to do a top 10 backgrounder, top 10 or background character, top 10 primary character, or top 10 alien, whatever, top 10 cantina, what have you. It's hard, I think, to give substantial, meaningful data when you're eliminating characters
Other things that may rank higher
that could win out at a later round. And you're potential votes away from something that could be in the top. That's what. But again, it's not funner than this. This is the funnest thing to do.
But the thing about that, is even the top most ultimate wanted Cantina alien, is that ranked more than the top most wanted clone trooper or the 10th most wanted Mandalorian character? That's where this kind of comes in.
But I think when you're doing a subset of them, it gives them more meaningful for if we're going to do a world. Yeah. What do we sprinkle into it, and what's the priority? And I think you guys are doing that obviously with this as a whole, right? As holistic. But I think some of our contentions have been is your top 4. I could probably predict right now.
Oh, probably.
Well, that means everybody's on the same page, and we want those figures. That's the point of this.
Yeah.
So if everybody's on the same page, then
they know that already.
But because that's like I said before, if Hasbro hears more vintage, we're gonna get 5-year-old figures on a new card. If we say we all want Bo-Katan, then they can make Bo-Katan, and we'd all be happy, and then we can go to number 2 after that. Yeah. That's where I'm coming at it on this.
Yeah, or it's not, they just want Mandalorian. It's like, they want that guy in the puffy vest that was blinking, you miss it. They want this. They want the main villain from that final Skywalker saga film. They want that clone.
And characters like Bib Fortuna and Hammerhead did make the top 25, I think, or at least top 64 or whatever. So there's a good mix to choose from. It wasn't I don't know. It'd be fun to do all the different subcategories as well.
And we kind of did that with the Fan Vote Fridays on our Instagram thing back in the fall, and we'll probably start doing that again, where we did Jedi, Sith. I think those were the only 2 that we actually did. And those were interesting, have people kind of it was very much the same methodology of this, is have people submit their top 5s, and then we did the top 5 recurring, as they were ranked. And
it is easier to count up top 5s than top 25s, I will say.
It is, and it's very easy to count 5 instead of 25. But for example, Jedi training Leia from the flashback in Rise of Skywalker, she was the number 5 on the Jedi poll. When we did that, she's totally absent from the top 64, but people do want her in that subset. But there was just other things that were prioritized.
And she was around number 82, I think 83 or something. But
the top 100 is pretty fascinating. I think we'll probably release that from before the bracket so that everybody can kind of see where things were sitting, and then compare that to where we're sitting after the bracket.
Have we said what the percentage votes worth for the last section? Have you done that? For example, the dark. Did we mention that? Dark Trooper. What percentage of the vote did the Dark Trooper get? I would probably say that's probably the most one-sided one.
That was definitely the most one-sided one. I don't know percentage-wise, but it got 1,533 votes versus Poe Dameron got 178.
Oof.
So that was that was a lot. And again, not to say that people don't want that Poe, but we've had an X-wing pilot Poe in Vintage Collection, and we've had other Last Jedi Poes and jacket Poes and sort of things, but not the it's hard to compare some of these characters, but if you're going to get knocked out eventually by that more popular character, then rip the Band-Aid off early is what I say. But
I know. Yeah. So my mom who introduced me to March Madness and all the sports, she's currently sadly dealing with some basketball upsets today and not looking forward to their March Madness.
But so back to the day 5 stuff. So Boba versus Grief, Boba won. Ben Solo versus Asajj Ventress. Asajj won that one. Again, she's been made numerous times in 3 3/4 as both comic figures and animated figures, but never a realistic figure based on her animated look as we do in Vintage Collection. And she just got a Black Series as well. And then next was General Merrick, Blue Leader, who won on Instagram and is the winner overall. He actually got 1,138 points. So there's your 1138 of the day. And then the Tonica's sister won on Facebook, but she got about half of the votes of Blue Leader overall. And then the final one of that day was Cobb Vanth versus Jedi Temple Guard. Again, Cobb won on Facebook, Jedi Temple Guard won on Instagram, but that was the closest one of them all. And we got a 5 POA guard, but no Cobb so far. And maybe
that 5 POA Temple Guard, isn't he like one of the most expensive 5 POA figures out there?
Yeah, I couldn't find him when he was out originally, so I paid like $25 for him or something, so nothing outrageous. But
sorry, is Cobb Vanth on the left-hand side? Is he?
We're on the top right now.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
but we haven't finished the right side yet, though. With voting, I think there's 2 more days, John.
Yeah, so we're on the second day of the right side today.
Right, gotcha.
So there weren't. I want the Ben Solo figure. Ventress was more popular. What are you gonna do about that? General Merrick and Tonica sister. That was a hard one, and I didn't know how that was gonna go because the Tonicas have been requested for years. They're one of the last most recognizable Cantina patrons left to do, and of course we all know about the rights issues, or maybe there aren't rights issues, et cetera, et cetera.
But it's General Merrick, isn't it? I mean, I can't remember where it was. Somebody said, "Why? What's the deal with General Merrick? Why do people want this guy? He's just some generic." But to me, he's like, he is Star Wars for me. Like when I saw him in Rogue One, he's clearly made to look like he's an actor from the late 70s, from that era. They made a lot of them. They made a lot of the Rogue One characters look like that. The pilots and stuff like that. And he just looks cool when he's in his his blue thing and everything. So that's awesome. Here we go. We got Jason now. Awesome.
Oh,
hey, doing, my friend?
Hi,
you all right?
Hello, fellas.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome.
I've been listening.
He's going to come in with his big sword now, like chop us all down.
No, I've been listening the whole time on trying to wrangle the kids and their extracurriculars, so I'm up to speed on where you guys are. So
I can just picture you shaking your head the whole time, just being like, "You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed."
Yeah. The real stuff. Tell us when these figures are coming, for the love of God, please.
I'm trying to gather information. I was talking to someone earlier today about some stuff, so hopefully some of these things come true.
Yeah,
nice.
Just lie to Evan. Tell him Ben Solo with his Gap sweater is coming.
Just make me feel. Just make me feel something. Yeah,
it's Gap sweater.
A Gap sweater. Good boy sweater.
Kevin Smith said that when he gave his Tross recap.
Was he crying when he said it?
Yes.
Yeah. And then
it was the greatest sweater I've ever seen.
He came in with his Gap sweater.
Oh, God.
But yeah, on the Blue Leader topic, because then they could sell another X-Wing, even though the last Luke X-Wing we got a year and a half ago was $100. based on a mold from 20 years ago, but we've never had a blue one, and it just looks so cool. Like Tim, like he said, he just screams Star Wars to me. It's he just looks so cool. He looks like if you turn the camera one way, even though he was dead by A New Hope, but and just the blue flight suit was something we hadn't seen before. And the blue X-Wings were, originally planned for A New Hope and kind of seen in Force Awakens for 5 seconds. But yeah, it's just something awesome that they need to get it. Maybe they're waiting until they can release the vehicle with the figure. I can't understand why they haven't done him yet after 5 years.
In any scale, he didn't even get a 5 POA, did he? I mean, it's crazy, really.
We'll probably get a mission fleet one since they can repack that mission fleet. Because we're getting a mission fleet Bo-Katan.
I don't think Funko even did a Merrick.
Right.
And
maybe
if anyone was going to do it, they would have.
Yeah.
They could do a variant with the helmet on and off, and convention exclusives. And
then they can, diamond coat it in diamonds and call it a con exclusive. So actually, fun fact: I just sold my Celebration 2019 blue set of pops and used that to pay for many vintage collection figures.
You made the right choice.
I did.
You made the right choice.
Yes, I did.
So onto today's votes, which are still going on both Instagram and Facebook. We have Paz Vizsla, the heavy infantry Mandalorian, voiced by Jon Favreau, versus Maul from Crimson Dawn from the end of Solo. Paz is currently winning. He was made as Black Series. So that's another balance the scales Hasbro kind of deal.
Is that an upset?
I thought Paz was going to win, and Paz was ranked higher than Maul in the.
So it's not.
No, I mean, we're getting the awesome Clone Wars Maul, which is great to see, and we need more of Maul's alternative outfits outside of Phantom Menace, definitely. But the Solo, he's in Solo for 12 seconds. So, whereas Paz Vizsla, he already has a figure, and he does a lot more.
See, Paz Vizsla for me is one of those ones that I really, really want.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he comes up against Baze Malbus in the next bit, I know I'm jumping ahead now, but for me, this is where it gets a bit funny, because had we not been given Chirrut Imwe, then I probably wouldn't have wanted Baze Malbus as much. So when it comes to the one-on-one, you're like, right, to finish that little team off, you need Baze Malbus, and if I've got to sacrifice Paz Vizsla, it's tough, isn't it? It really is tough. Sorry, I'm just going to unmute Tyler because he wants to. Shall I let him say something? Yeah, we'll let him say something.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, two things. First of all, unfortunately, in my opinion, Baze is not currently winning in the polls. Koska Reeves is, which I think is unfortunate, because I feel that they should finish the Rogue One cast off. It's been 5 years. Get it freaking done already. But back to Paz versus Maul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paz versus, yeah, I really thought that was going to be a very, very close race, but it's not. He's beaten pretty Maul pretty easily, and that could be, from his on-screen presence. Like you said, he's in Solo for all of about 30 seconds as a hologram. I don't think that's very exciting for most people, but I think that if we see him in live action, we're probably supposed to in the Solo, follow-on films leading Crimson Dawn, I think that could have been a very different story, because let's face it, it's Darth Maul or Maul,
Yeah. Let's hope Ray Park keeps his Instagram clean from now on. And
but again, Paz Vizsla's got the fact that it's in the Mandalorian, and Black Series figure's awesome.
Yeah. And the scene where he flies in and just goes to town on everybody, and then does his little Rocketeer move.
Yeah, he interacts with the Razor Crest with a little salute as they fly outside.
I don't think that's going to count in Hasbro's eyes, to be honest.
But it counts in mine, and the disappointment is real.
Yeah,
everyone's getting their hot Paz Vizsla right now, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
I do have a 3 3/4-inch Paz Vizsla made by Has No Talent. That's a fun figure. So I mean, of course, 5 POA and vintage style, but it's better than nothing, and I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I have that too.
Yeah.
I got a lot of his early figures, and then I had to tap out because it was getting too expensive.
Yeah, I think I got 7 of his figures, and I was like, oh, rent. no.
Yeah, he started going pretty deep in there too. He was doing the frog lady and her husband, and just pretty great.
I was
The
kicking
Morax.
myself for not getting the frog lady because I need a frog lady for the
and
crest.
Frogman too.
And
Her
Frogman
husband, too.
Yeah.
Where did the frog lady come in the poll?
She was actually.
Was she in the top 100?
She was number 75 actually, so she was pretty close.
Me.
Out of all, that's amazing. That's amazing, though, isn't it? Because that is the Mandalorian effect. Because if you think about it, out of all the like 700 characters were put forward, right?
Yeah.
And the frog lady is in 75th place. That's just amazing, isn't it?
Just some of the.
I find that incredible.
Yeah, I love when Star Wars goes weird and goofy, and you don't find much more goofy than that.
Yeah.
And you know, and you're getting sad, you're getting emotional about this lady and her kids, and it's like it's a freaking frog talking on screen right now. It's Amy Sedaris doing some guttural stuff, and it's like this is amazing. This is incredible right now.
This is Star Wars.
Yeah. So the next matchup is Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That's the Kylo Ren with sour cream because he's supreme. Versus another Vizsla, another Jon Favreau Vizsla character, Pre Vizsla. And Pre Vizsla is winning, and that is actually an upset from where they're ranked in the top 25, top 64.
That's juicy.
And because Pre again was made as an animated season 2 character before he decked out his armor in season 4 and got even cooler and got his head cut off.
I went Pre Vizsla, but then he lost massively to Fennec Shan. So I always get ahead of myself. Sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
Should we be talking about the next round? Should we?
You got to see how it goes in the future. But Fennec isn't in the next round or one of the next rounds. Versus Fennec Shand versus Captain Rex, a new sculpt, and Fennec. It's pretty close currently, but Fennec is winning.
I was going to say, spoiler alert, I've just told you who I voted for in something that's current. But as much as I'd love the Captain Rex really disappointed me when they gave us that one.
Yeah.
Because coming straight off the back of the Arc Trooper 3-pack, I honestly thought that we're going to get a really, an as good head sculpt as those three that's going to rival the Black Series one that you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've given that one, it's almost like dampened my enthusiasm for it, and I can almost just wait now, and especially if it comes up against someone as cool as Fennec Shan, who is pretty awesome, and she's going to be in the Book of Boba Fett and what have you. So
and Bad Batch.
You're reminding me of
Bad Batch, yeah.
Your nice descriptions, were very, very thorough and giving some good details that people may over or forget. So
we post all those on Instagram. I think there's not enough space on Facebook most of the time, but
Facebook.
I should be adding them as comments though. I just realized that. But
that goes along with the balance the scales and the finish the 96 stuff, John. That so grateful for you being able to put together not only just doing this activity stuff, but informative stuff that going into voting and all that. people are more aware of what we're missing. When was the last time we got something? What don't we have?
And for some reason, all that information sticks in my brain, and I can't get rid of it.
It keeps you awake at night.
Yeah. And then the last matchup for today is Baze Malbus versus Koska Reeves. And Baze is winning. When I checked a couple hours ago before this started, Baze was winning on Facebook. Koska was winning on Instagram. Koska is winning overall, which is an upset also. I think it's
on Facebook. Not that we get a lot of, as many votes, but I think he crushed her. Right?
Bill, how you doing, mate?
277 to 94.
Yes, that's a little bit more than it was earlier, but
So
because that's another one where it's like I assume Baze is going to be coming at some point because they said we're going to finish the Rogue One crew. Here's K2, here's Chirrut last year, so I assume Baze has to be coming soon, right? But
you would hope so.
You'd hope. You never assume anything with Hasbro these days. But
again, a supreme leader Kylo Ren, man. I thought that was an obvious choice, but
I think the problem that happens, right, is that this new media. Well, they had this gap and they didn't make figures.
Yeah,
which is a huge issue with a lot of this bottleneck, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have media coming out, and based on its reaction, is it going to change their priorities? Right?
Yeah. This December, we're pretty much never gonna not have a new Star Wars thing going on. So,
Yeah, there might be two going on at once, pretty
Yeah.
much. Like some of them might overlap a little bit,
Yeah, so
They
we
would say
need
that-
more than 7 new sculpts a year. Just saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have 2 days left in the first round, so that's 8 more matchups. Tomorrow will be Ahsoka Tano from Corvus, or from The Mandalorian, Rosario Dawson, versus who was ranked very high, versus EV99, who was ranked near the bottom of the 64. And then Mandalorian Warrior Death Watch versus Bodhi Rook, and there were some votes for the Clone Wars version, some votes for the Mandalorian version, but for people that specified, it was the Mandalorian flashback, Children of the Watch, whatever you want to call it. And then Sabine Wren versus Han Solo from Episode 7. I wrote on there as Takodana look, whatever, same thing. And then Princess Leia Organa from A New Hope versus the Mandalorian Super Commando, aka the Maldalorian. So again, some of those have been done in Black Series. There's 3 Mandalorians coming tomorrow, and then another character from the Mandalorian. So clearly, a lot of love for that look.
Tough choices. Tough choices.
What are you guys going to vote for? Who do you think is going to win? I mean, Ahsoka's going to... I want EV99.
Yeah, I was going to say, spoiler alert, my entire bracket winner is somewhere on this right side. So,
Yep.
Mine too, but it's not yours for sure.
yeah.
Sweet Simaloo.
Sweet Simaloo. Oh, yeah.
But I wonder how Leia is going to go up against the Maldalorian, because the other, like Gar Saxon, won against Moma Nadon, but...
So I voted when I voted for Moma Nadon versus Gar Saxon. I voted for Hammerhead, even though it's like, yeah, Mandalorians, but I wanted to, get that definitive OT character, that background alien, because, more aliens is cool. And the likelihood of Gar Saxon would increase if, other Mandalorians are being pumped out. So there's more to kind of kit bash from and work from.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Mandalorian Super Commando and Leia, I know on my bracket, I have Leia winning that one because good Lord, man, it's our space mommy. We need her, man. We need that iconic figure in the modern line, up to modern standards. So.
And now that they've been going through some of the other 2004 figures like Boba Fett or Bespin Lando and finally redoing them 17 years later, Leia is my top of those lists. Luke, Han and Obi-Wan can come later, but
yeah.
Well, Obi-Wan's the top of mine, but yeah.
Leia went far in mine.
Yeah.
Till she came up against Bib Fortuna, and she was like, "Get down!"
Yeah, I think I had Ben Kenobi make it to my Elite 8. So
So the final 4 matchups that we'll be doing on Monday are Cal Kestis versus Savage Opress, or as Sam Witwer's character called him, Savage Opress, which I always think about when I see his name. And then Garazeb or Zeb Aurelios versus Sim Alu, the Imperial Dignitary, the only completely unupdated original 96 figure in the modern line, other than the Bespin guard with the mustache. But,
quick interjection.
Hint, John. Hint. Yeah.
Quick interjection, John. Finished the 96. You and Steve Evans now have matching T-shirts.
Oh yes,
I sent one of those to him in exchange for one of the pleb shirts.
Twinsies,
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Chopper, aka C-110P versus Admiral Piet, and then Bib Fortuna versus Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi. A couple of original trilogy heavy hitters right there.
Oh,
that was a hard one.
Yeah. It's got to be the Bib.
I think like with Chopper, as much as I want all those Rebels characters in vintage, Disney did a pretty as good as you're going to get version of Chopper a couple of years ago, or as good as you need to get, really. Yeah. Which Hasbro kind of, the Black Series one is similar. It has the extra leg. It has arms that fold out of the head and stuff. So I'm pretty happy with that one. So I'll be voting for Piet on that matchup. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'll be voting Piet.
Nice. It'll be interesting to see. I think, I don't know. Savage. We have a few Savages. We have, animated, but.
I was just looking at my bracket. Poor Piet didn't make it past Chopper on mine, so sorry. See, I had Tim on board when I said Hammerhead instead of Gar Saxon, and then I just lost him.
big time.
And this will be the last time I'm ever on this stream, but I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, Chopper, he won out over Piet for me as well. I went with all the matchups regarding Rebels figures. I chose the Rebels figure just because we haven't had any in Vintage Collection. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's one of the reasons why they're in the 64 in the first place,
Right.
isn't it? Because
very much.
Yeah.
you know.
And like for Rebels, we're not going down to like the secondary background characters. Like we still need the main characters of that show in the line. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to compare some of this stuff. Like Zeb versus Simalu, as much obviously I want the Imperial Dignitary as part of Finish the 96. I doubt he's going to win against Zeb.
The top 64 here is not an indictment at all of the fan community's wants. It's more of an indictment of, you know, how the line has been approached by those who are building it. So
Daniel Chart thinks that Fennec will be in the last 4. I'm just seeing where she. No, she didn't quite make that for me. She came up against General Merrick in the end.
She's gonna lose to Boba Fett. Come on. No,
what?
I'm trying to get my.
I think she'll probably lose to Boba Fett.
Who?
Fennec.
Sorry, I was just catching up. Yeah. Who? What are you talking about? Looking at the bracket. Yeah.
Look at the East region, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what region it is. Next year, make it fun. Like, I don't know.
Well, I have a good feeling, a good feeling for like figures like Boba Fett, hopefully, with just the popularity of it all coming sooner rather than later. So
I do wonder how the final matchups are going to go similarly or differently from the top 25 that we already posted and that Tim did a video about and stuff. Yeah. I'm assuming, I mean, we're getting a lot more participation now than we were in those initial top 25 lists because, you know, it's easier to pick this or that instead of give me a list of 25 that you got to think about and agonize over for a week or whatever. So in that case, yeah, because Bo-Katan won that one by quite a bit, but there were plenty of other characters like Boba Fett and Ahsoka, and a lot of the Mandalorian characters were pretty high up. Yeah, there've been a couple upsets, so I'm interested to see how it goes from here. I don't know. Who do you think is going to win? Bo-Katan?
I mean, do you want me to give the projected winner of my bracket?
Yes. Yeah. Who's everybody's projected winner?
My predicted winner is the final 2 is going to be Corvus Ahsoka and the Dark Trooper, and Ahsoka wins.
So wait, Evan, are you doing like your bracket or what you think's going to happen? Like,
so this is my bracket. What I kind of was wanting paired with what I'm like thinking and kind of hoping would happen. That Ahsoka and Dark Trooper are both things that, unless the power has been out in Pawtucket for a few months, those are 2 things that have got to be high on the priority list. So. But also, I mean, those are definitely things that I just loved as soon as I saw them and knew I was needing toys of them ASAP.
Yeah, that's a good. Why don't we go round and then? So we'll start with you. We've done Evan, but we can skip Evan. But John, Vintage Concepts. Do you want to start? So do you want to say what your bracket was?
Yeah,
finalists and winner, and then what you think it's going to probably be based on early voting.
Sure. So, I mean, my personal wants in my bracket, my final 4 were, sorry, Tim, Pong Krell. Because he and Bo-Katan are right in that line of, like I said, when they basically stopped making figures for Clone Wars during season 4, which is when I think it really picked up second half of season 3, and then all the cool stuff came after season 4, 5, 6, 7, and then they basically just stopped doing anything for that. And the Umbara arc is probably one of my favorites series of episodes in that show. And he's going up against Finn, who again is just, he's one of the main characters of the movies, and we don't have him in the line. And that's, as much as I want the background characters and everybody else, I think it's important to get him in there. And then on the other side was General Merrick, Blue Leader. I had a hard time thinking about that one, but I just love him so much. And then Simalu, Imperial Dignitary, was the other one. And he was my ultimate winner because you got to finish the 96. And, that didn't win out every time, but because he's like I said, apart from, a couple different beards or mustaches or whatever, he's the only character that has not been updated into the modern line. That's Simalu. And that's important to me. So
I think Simalu is probably the 96 figure that they're most worried about.
Yeah.
Successfully.
I mean, they haven't done it in the 25 years of the modern line. So I guess for a reason.
Simalu will
Bill-
be the standalone HasLab figure. It'll just be Simalu HasLab.
$300.
Yeah.
Convention exclusive.
Bill, Cad Bane was in the top 64. He is there somewhere. John Miko, what about you?
Yeah. So my top four were kind of a mix, I guess, of OT and new media. So I have Velkin and Hammerhead matched up with Velkin winning. Again, that's pure just I have all this invested in this world building, and I'd love to finish that prisoner skip and add him. And he could be moved on to other characters like Nizuk and whatnot, but that's probably never going to happen. So
Not with that attitude.
That's
Jeez.
so defeatist.
yeah, I guess I'll be optimistic that he will happen and just fail.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the spirit.
He'll pull a Yarna, and then they'll never want to make fan figures again. So
That's it. They'll do him, and he'll be the worst figure ever made.
Hasbro's going to make him out of spite.
And then I have Paz Vizsla versus another Mandalorian, the Death Watch Mando, and I have Paz Vizsla winning that with Velkin winning on top. So
Cool.
nice.
And how do you think it's going to go?
I mean, I think it's the Bo-Katan, Admiral Thrawn, Boba Fett, and Ahsoka in the final four.
Is that possible though? I know, because you've got to go try and work it out then. Because
Yeah, it's
Fett
possible.
might meet. It is possible, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
I think anything that might, could be skewed is the Dark Trooper. A lot of people want that, so maybe he could take Thrawn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to unmute you, Tyler. The floor is yours, my friend.
So, my final four, if I'm not mistaken, were mistaken to myself. Of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn, because he is my ultimate want. The Rise of Skywalker, Emperor Palpatine, which just barely won over the Dark Trooper, and Boba Fett in his repainted, re-armored scheme, and Maul from Solo, his Crimson Dawn appearance. Those were my top four. Maul got obliterated today by Paz Vizsla, so he's not advancing, which is surprising to me. But apparently, badass Mandalorians do pretty well. So
Yeah.
I think that if Return of the Jedi Emperor Palpatine was not heavily rumored, if it was Return of the Jedi Palpatine versus Grand Admiral Thrawn, Return of the Jedi Palpatine actually would have taken it for me.
Yeah.
Both of those two are like within my top 3 favorite Star Wars characters of all time. So that would have been an extremely hard matchup. But Thrawn takes it since his Rise of Skywalker appearance is a little bit less important to me, but still important.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Space Tut. He is on Team Dark Side.
I am.
I thought for sure your final four was going to be Thrawn, and Thrawn.
Yeah.
If that was possible.
Shirtless Thrawn, Savage Thrawn, Grand
Cadet
Admiral
Thrawn.
Thrawn, Cadet Thrawn. Yeah.
Thrawn with epaulets. Thrawn
Yeah.
with
Yeah. Top 64 Thrawns.
And who do you think's going to win?
So here's the thing, right, with that Boba Fett. He's getting his own show, right? So assuming his appearance does not change, I have to assume that is a guaranteed figure, right? And probably Fennec Shand as well, if she stays as like his sidekick girlfriend thing, whatever's going on there, right? I don't know.
No labels.
I think those two are extremely likely. But as for who I think is going to take the overall, I mean, Bo-Katan really crushed it.
Yeah, she was number 1 on the top 64 by a large margin.
And so did the Dark Trooper, actually. So the Dark Trooper may well make it into the top 4. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jason, over to you, mate.
My final 4 came down to a lot of the same ones you guys have mentioned. Bo-Katan, Mama Nadon, Boba Fett, the re-armored version, and Ahsoka from Corvus. That matchup kind of worked its way down to Hammerhead versus Ahsoka for me, and then I chose Ahsoka as the winner overall.
Yes.
Nice.
But Hammerhead got in the final, though. Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think I like you even more than I did.
I just, it's one of those figures that needs to be obviously revisited.
God, yeah.
As far as what I think is going to happen, I think Boba Fett is going to come out on top just because of his overall popularity. And it's as soon as he came back on the show, people wanted that figure the second they saw it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's tough to go wrong with that pick as a guess how this might turn out.
People wanted Cobb Vance the minute they saw him.
Oh, yeah.
Until they saw Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And now he's just like this weirdo that dressed in his armor.
Yeah.
Some poser.
Yeah. Okay, on to me then. So who did I have? I've got to remember now. So in the final 4, I had Count Dooku versus the Dark Trooper. And the reason for that is, just Count Dooku is just missing for me, and he's been missing. He hasn't been missing for like the last year. He's been missing for 10, 11 years. So he seriously needs to be in the line, And yeah, he was up against the Dark Trooper, and then on the other side, I had General Merrick. General Merrick beat Boba Fett, and then he beat Fennec Shan, so he really deserves his place. And then he actually beat Bib Fortuna. So I had Bib Fortuna and General Merrick.
Nice.
So my final was the Dark Trooper versus General Merrick, and the Dark Trooper won. And if I was a betting man, which I am, by the way, yeah, it's going to be Dark Trooper, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, and Ahsoka, if that's possible. The winner will be one of them 4.
My top 4 is actually 3 of those 4, but instead of Boba Fett, it's Ben Solo in my top 4. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Evan, you are weird.
I know. God, you sound like everyone I've ever loved.
He had a good heart.
Yeah.
Nah, fair play. If you want Ben Solo, that's on you, mate.
It is on me, isn't it? Certainly Hasbro doesn't care.
I want him to.
I was actually quite surprised at Tyler's choices, to be honest. I mean, I know from what I know about him, I know he would want Thrawn, but the other ones kind of surprised me as well. There was a lot of out there. I don't know, maybe less obvious choices. I don't know if you want to, cane me for that if you want.
Hey, I voted for Ben Solo. I have no leg to stand on. Don't worry about it.
So I know how a lot of people, not everybody, feel about the sequels. For me, The Rise of Skywalker was actually my favorite of the 3, and I have a pretty significant Sith Eternal army, which is missing its leader. There's no Palpatine. There's no General, and it just looks weird. So I gotta have my Palpatine, man. My Palpatine's missing. So that's why he made it into my final 4.
But Finn was quite high up for you, right?
For me.
That was on John's.
Oh, that's you, John. Sorry.
That's right.
Get out. I'm joking. I'm joking.
You know, he's only one of the main characters of the movies, but
Yeah, no. As I said before, that I actually quite like the Finn from the Walmart 3.75. It's a bit of a boring figure, but it looks like what it's supposed to be. You know, it's pretty accurate. You know,
a lot of the characters from the last 5 movies have been guys in brown jackets, and we've had a lot of those figures. Poe, and you know, as cool as Bespin Han is, you know, everybody's trying to do that these days. It's a little bit played out, frankly.
Oh, Cassian.
But, yeah, Cassian and Poe, and then he gives his jacket to Finn. So we've had a lot, but you know, I still want Finn and Poe in the line.
Oh,
let me see.
Randy.
Do it, Carlo.
Randy, you're dead to me, Tyler. What's up, Randy? Good dude.
Let's say, because just to go over it, we posted the top 25, and Tim's talked about it, but the top 8 were Count Dooku, number 8, number 7, Fennec Shand, number 6, Bib Fortuna, number 5, Dark Trooper, number 4, Grand Admiral Thrawn, number 3, Ahsoka from Mando, 2, Boba Fett rearmored, and 1 was Bo-Katan. So I'm expecting most of those will do very, very well, of course. And then thanks to Jason's tireless work, we had to disqualify Queel and Return of the Jedi Palpatine from the top 10 because they would have made the top 10 had they not been so rumored. But now Queel slipped out of the case on your list.
I'm not sure where he falls exactly. Doing some additional. I know he's been offered for retailers to purchase.
Okay.
So I just don't know if that means he's now, exclusive, or if he is, or what wave he's slotted. Because there's, along with the Black Series, there's been some shuffling around of some things.
Okay.
Just timing and all that. So, so he's still, as far as I know, he's still coming this year.
Okay. Because that was some
Might
of those
just
figures
be part of a different wave.
Okay.
Just so you know, guys, this is where the show starts getting really interesting.
We've
got Jason talking. Just keep him talking.
Yes.
The last 2 hours there's just the pre-show for the last 2 hours.
Yeah, Jason, which
what do you want to know?
Or can we disqualify?
No, I'm not sure.
But it was nice to be able to disqualify some because to me, that as I said before, it shows that at least in some regard, Hasbro is on the same, not to use a pun, but they're on the same pulse as some of the fans, same wavelength. I was going for the Hasbro pulse joke, but anyway.
I like that better. I'm sorry.
I've got a question for you, Jason. Actually,
Sure.
And you don't have to name characters or anything like that, but it's to do with the VC numbers. So VC 188 is like sandwiched between ones that we've got, and
Right.
So, are you aware of? Is that going to be like a pack-in with maybe a playset, or is that going to be a one-off exclusive like Luke Yavin, for example?
Right. It's based on the figures that I've found recently. They're not named, but they're code named. I think I found another flower one the other day. It might be one of those. I'm trying to determine, because they've only started showing up. How can I say? I'm trying to determine their identity. Right, Hasbro's changed a few things on the back end as far as trying to prevent some of these things from leaking out. And
why would they do that?
But so I'm not privy to who some of these characters are at the moment. But like that 188 might be Quill. But again, I don't know. Like I said, when I kind of came on, I was kind of tracking down some information earlier today, and I'm hoping to get a response here sometime tonight, hopefully, to see. Because I've been inquiring, are we getting more play sets? Are we getting more vehicles? Because those have been, the play sets seem to be doing really well as far as I've been able to determine. And
6 up there behind me.
Yeah, and vehicles. As much as people, they like a deal, they typically like to wait for clearances also. But the 3 3/4 inch line isn't complete without vehicles to go with it,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we're going to get some more vehicles this year, at least one this year.
Yeah, you'd expect at least one, wouldn't you?
So I know
Oh,
there's been meetings for 2022 stuff already. So we'll see. I think we're going to get another vehicle this year. I'm just trying to determine maybe what that might be, whether it's new media or something that we have gotten before but needs a revisit. So we'll see.
speed a bike. Speed a bike.
It's so
Sorry,
easy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that we're getting the blurg and mission fleet and not anything else, it's like, come on.
2 blurgs, the mission fleet.
Yeah, God.
2? What do you mean?
Yeah.
2?
Well,
Yeah,
one
there's one
Quill.
with coming with Mando.
Oh, I'm late to the game on that.
one with
Yeah.
Quill. I'm assuming the same sculpt, but right.
Yeah.
Oh man. That
So they
hurt.
could run through the flats together.
Hasbro made me buy Mission Fleet
Yeah.
Put your arm.
to get that. And amazingly, I'm actually quite impressed with it. That's the problem. I'm
Right.
not going to buy it, but this little figure's brilliant. This little quill, it's amazing.
They starve us, so we'll take anything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you don't want to buy an Uze custom for like 65 euros plus shipping.
I did actually. I bought the Hasno blurg, which is cool, and it has like the trap door on the back, like the old Dewback.
Oh,
I
cool.
think Evan's probably getting that right now, but it's
This-
unpainted. And,
Which one's this?
I thought Evan was getting the blurg from that Hasno talent guy we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sells
Yeah,
stuff on
I've got
Instagram.
I have the unpainted prototype version as well.
Yeah, mine came. It came with Quill, the bundle that I bought. That's nice. You know, there you go.
Oh yeah. Forgive my shaky little gross collector fingers. Like, oh yes, I found the toy in my house. So, but yeah.
Yeah, but the reason I asked you about the numbers is because obviously they've still got to revisit VC 176. But I'm guessing that any figure in the future that isn't already planned in too far ahead, they could just go, we'll
Right.
allocate 176 to 176, isn't it? 'Cause there was two 177s. But the 188 is like because of those Walmart exclusives and this most recent wave. That's
Yep.
just like on its own, isn't it? It sticks out like a sore thumb. What could that be? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's an exclusive of some, because whether it's like Walmart or Target hasn't been getting any of the vintage exclusives, and Amazon got the Sith Trooper a while ago.
yeah.
It seems like I don't know why they chose Walmart to be their exclusive VTC partner, but
Because yeah.
but I would imagine it's an exclusive because where I find some of this information, if it's a direct exclusive with some retailer, I wouldn't necessarily know what that is until pretty close to its release, or when it starts shipping to the US, or it ends up on some manifest somewhere, then I can find out. But yeah, I'm curious to know as well which figure that is. I'm betting, like I said, it's an exclusive.
It's just so weird they would leave a gap in that wave. I was opening the case the other day, and it was like, oh, did I forget something, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
It's going to be similar.
Do you think with the price hike of so many things like the vehicle and that sort of thing, do you think something is going to give with figure pricing as well?
I haven't heard anything in regard to vintage collection going up. Like the other, like I think starting with the April waves of Black Series, and it's not even limited. It's not limited to Star Wars, but Marvel and stuff like that. Prices are going up for those. So I'm not. As far as I know at this point, vintage collection is staying the same.
Because I feel like that's. I mean, I hate to think of what's coming next, but it seems like that's the next logical thing. I know on some online e-tailers, the price went up $1, but not everywhere.
Right.
Some figures did, but it almost seems like if we need to get Walmart more on board, more tooling, more of this, more of that. I mean, everything's going up right now, right? I mean, just in the economy in general and inflation, it just seems like we're headed for something like that. And if it did happen, hopefully it's to help the line.
Right. And there's also the issue with all the the freight that is trapped over on the east or west coast. They're having to spend a ton of money to try to get that product to their retail to the retailers. So you would think some of that cost is going to get passed down the line to consumers.
You hear it too, that hire and labor costs are going up every year. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Black Series is going up in price. What difference is that to 3 3/4?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, with Black Series going up like $2 a figure, I would not be surprised, if it comes to that vintage goes up $1,
Wonderful.
It's hard to say.
Oh, good.
I think people need to look at reality in some ways and stop wishing figures were $6.99. And I know Tyler and you guys have talked about quality and advancing the line. If they're going to do these types of things, they need to keep that promise.
So, like that Boba Fett from this wave, as I sat there playing with it, I was like, this was $12.99. What? Like, this is an incredible figure. This is incredible. I would pay more for that. Not that I want to, but I was just blown away by what we got.
Like in the Black Series, Boba is $10 more than all the other figures, and because of the decors, he doesn't come with anything else. I mean, he comes with a broken blaster, but that can't be $10 worth of materials. I don't know.
Right.
Benny Sullivan's asking a Black Series question on the Vintage Collection show. That's just
pass
just disgraceful.
Different show. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm saying too, like TVC was always priced higher than Black Series, TVC tax. Well, don't forget, I think at the time of the 3.75 Black Series, they were listening to customers saying we don't want to pay more than $10 for a figure, so they cut back on some sculpting detail, paint apps, and used like a consistent card back in general.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw the disaster that turned into.
And I remember. I was just the last few waves were still $12.83 at Walmart, like $12.99 ish.
Yeah.
For a minute before they killed the line and took it to Walmart. Sorry, Jason. What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, they kind of, when they relaunched with the 5 POA line, the prices was, they were that sub $10, the $7.99 or whatever they were. But then right towards the end, when they were gonna kill the 5 POA line and switch over to the Galaxy of Adventures and stuff, the price went up to $10 for the same figure.
Yeah.
They came in a plastic tube for $3 more. It was just
now they have
ridiculous.
A tiny mini comic you can't even read.
Right.
That was exciting. Yeah. Some of that felt like a deliberate move. I don't know. Not to be conspiracy.
To prep you for the new scale. Yeah, because it was, they kept the name, they just changed the figure format and kept the price.
It seemed like they could, they repack old.
You're not paying $10 for.
Yeah, and I mean they can do and the Galaxy of Adventure is pretty super articulated still, even though
they're excellently articulated. It's crazy.
Very little paint. But. Yeah. So we all want to pay more, is what we're saying.
Yes.
That's today.
More Lukes, price hike, no OT aliens. Let's just do that now.
You just hope it's for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just for, the inflation happening and the supplier issue that's happening. You hope it's for other reasons. You hope it's so Walmart and Target and more stuff.
Well, if Hasbro was like, hey, price of vintage collection, each figure is going to be $15 or $15.99, that sucks. However, if they coupled with that, and we're going to be doubling the amount of new product we put out, or, we're going to be really ramping up our production numbers or ramping up what we're offering, then I'd be like, well, okay, I guess I could live with that if I knew it was like the money was going to be invested back into why I'm collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it would translate to, bumping up the figures a couple bucks. How many more figures does that get you per year? Or is that just to keep breaking even, or, keeping their margins what they are and, based on prices going up for, labor, like we said, it doesn't get us any more figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the notoriously expensive license. So,
right.
I mean, they just did that, the, $17.99 or whatever Mando build-up pack with amazing paint, amazing sculpting, likeness. I mean, a lot of it was reused from the tooling of the basic Mando, but it's, it has more accessories, more paint, and that was amazing, and that sold extremely well, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's going to clearance in some places because Walmart has no idea how to handle their exclusives, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there is, people would pay more for higher quality, more accessories and stuff. Like I miss some of the stuff like in Legacy or 30th, where they had like the moisture evaporators or part of the cantina bar or whatever, but you didn't get the vintage card, but you got amazing world building stuff. So
yeah,
that's a great point. Bring back some of the stuff we've had in the past, premium. I think Tross Ray was what, 5 accessories.
Yeah.
Most get 2, maybe 3, and in TVC 1.0 we got a lot of stuff packed in, and then like what you're talking about with some of the TAC and Legacy figures being packed with so much world building stuff. It'd be nice to get some of that stuff back, and if I need to pay a couple extra bucks, cool.
They could almost do another Ray, include the yellow lightsaber and the knife, and just hood. You could build that out a little bit more.
That's a
Dio.
Yeah. I mean, Hasbro have just launched Hasbro UK, Hasbro Pulse UK, and I've had it confirmed now that that will be the place where you get all the exclusives. So previously, all of our online retailers, they've been able to order all your exclusives that you guys get. Doesn't matter where they are, whether it's Walmart, Hasbro Pulse exclusive, Target exclusive, doesn't matter. They were able to get them from Hasbro UK distribution, which is why sometimes we got them before you guys with the exclusives. Right. The normal waves tend to drop in Targets way before we can get them and stuff like that, but the exclusives. But now that's changing. Hasbro Pulse is going to be the place for all exclusives. So they're cutting out they're going to make more money from the UK market. I don't know how big that is, but it's pretty big. For the exclusives anyway.
Wow. I remember you talking about, being unsure if people would be unhappy with that, but have they been, the other retailers, are they like, come on guys, don't cut us out now? Are they kind of upset about this?
I'm going to make a video about it. I've got a quote from one of them. So before Hasbro UK existed, they had to get everything from third party wholesalers anyway. And then they used to import stuff from the Far East. So again, we used to get the exclusives from the Far East, but they're in short supply. So when Hasbro UK came along, it was awesome because all of a sudden we were able to get all this stuff, So those retailers, I'm guessing, will go back to the Far East to get to the exclusives because they can't any longer get them from Hasbro UK. So it's whether I mean, I'll probably order one from each, see which one turns up first,
Yeah. Because I saw they didn't launch with anything new, right? But they had some like over here, some of those like G.I. Joe, I know it's super hard to get from Target.
Yeah. The G.I. Joe crowd were very happy because a load of the hard to find G.I. Joes were there. There was also a Marvel Super Silver Surfer figure or something.
Yeah.
Which has been particularly hard to get, I understand, and it was there for people to order. So I think it sold out pretty quick, but those G.I. Joe figures, they were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Star Wars was all, what we've already got and a lot of out of stock stuff. And the the most recent wave with Boba Fett and everything has a date of 1st of May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's still what Pulse has here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like in America, the partner exclusives are just like a couple of the Walmart non-transforming Transformers, and then like a Lord of the Rings Monopoly game or something. So nothing thrilling on our end yet. Hopefully, I don't know if the Monday Walmart stuff is going to go up there. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt.
Preference, I doubt it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. So that the upcoming Walmart exclusives, those 3, the 50th anniversary ones, they won't be on Pulse, no?
Probably not.
Probably not right away. No.
No.
I think, just like the ones that they've posted on that partner exclusive deal are ones that have been out through, for a few months, through Walmart or Amazon. I think a couple of those Transformers you can only get on Amazon. And I think Star Wars and Marvel will follow suit with similar offerings, exclusive time windows that kind of run their course, and they can redistribute through their official store.
I'm fine with that.
Maybe we could finally get a reissue or another run of the build-up pack Mando and Grogu, but with a amended number for 176. So
because it'll be quite interesting coming up with the 3, because obviously Hasbro Pulse UK has launched, and it'll be the first time, I'm guessing, that our normal retailers won't have the exclusives. Well, they will, but import stock.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of them will anyway. Not all of them do that. And then it'll be interesting to see how Hasbro Pulse fares, in terms of like how easy people can get them, how quickly they run out of stock, whether they do the early bird thing for the people that have paid the money, because you have to pay £20 to be a member, which is 50% off, I think, for the first year. I think you guys got it free for the first year, did you not?
You had to buy a figure or something, and then,
So
if it's successful over there, Tim, I think what you're saying is that you're going to be providing figures for the other 5 of us here sitting here, because it'll be easier for you to get.
Well, it's just another way that they can make more money, isn't it? Because I don't think they're out to strangle the retailers, because Hasbro UK is still there, and I've been told that stock levels will not be affected for all the mainline stuff and everything like that. It's literally just the exclusives are going to be Hasbro Pulse exclusives. And maybe it's just a way that they're making it easier for themselves. I don't know. But they'll certainly make more money because there's no middleman there, is there? There's no retail scalp going on.
I feel bad for those retailers, but hopefully it'll make it easier for collectors to get a hold of this stuff anyway. So,
Well, they'll definitely put it all under one roof. Everyone will know 100% where to go to get it. It's just a case of, as you guys have experienced things selling out and there not being enough to go around. So have to wait and see.
Chris, can we start over from the beginning? Sure. Do it.
So back in January, we started the top 25 list.
Yeah. So there's a bracket going around. I don't know if you know. So
spoiler alert: Dark Trooper. No.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
how to vote on Facebook. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, at least the Instagram voting was pretty intuitive. It's like go to the story and tap yes or no at the end. But I will say though, I honestly am so grateful to all of you here for Tim, Jason, John, just for humoring us with this and wanting to participate and chat with us about it and all that. I never would have dreamed that we'd be sitting here on Tim's live stream chatting with you guys, being able to talk about this little project we've been putting together. And honestly, that the fact that Hasbro may or may not have a copy of the bracket in their hands is pretty fascinating and exciting to think about. Not that I don't know what they'll get out of it, but hey, Hasbro, if you're listening, there's 64 figures right there that you're cracking. We want them.
Yeah.
So but again, thank you. And thank you everyone in the comments too. That's just been saying that they've been voting and that it was fun. It means a lot, and we've been having a blast with it. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean,
Yeah, thank you guys.
as I said to John and all you guys, like, the more noise, anyone that can make noise, I'm all for it. It's just make more noise than the Black Series people.
Yeah, yeah.
without pissing them off.
Yeah, someone asked us for they're like, how did you make this bracket? We want to make one for the Black Series. And I was like, cool, do it in your own time.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Go, Tyler.
So I just wanted to say regarding that, in comments such as this, I haven't seen them as much recently, but for a while there, I was seeing Black Series collectors be like, whoa, slow down, Hasbro, give our wallets a break. And I'm like, careful what you wish for on that.
Yeah.
Because you will have to fight tooth and nail to get that quality back, get that quantity back. Never ask Hasbro for less. Ever, because you will get less for years. It will not be fun for you, I promise. So.
No.
All right, I've said my piece. You can mute me.
Yeah, we're all smiling, but we're all just dead inside because we don't get enough figures.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's been fun, doing the list, and it's kind of gives you something to wake up and look forward to in the morning. Oh, the list has been posted. It's quick, get our votes in. It's like, I don't know. Hasbro used to do stuff this a long time ago. With figure polls, and it was a more relative. More reoccurring thing, like a yearly or biannual, every now and then they do figure polls, and, a lot of the other sites used to band together and compile their wish lists and send off to Hasbro during their Q&As or present it to them at the different conventions. And, over the years, they've kind of got away from doing that, it seems like, but like you said, the more noise you make about it and keeping it relative and keeping it in their face, they're gonna pay attention.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's 64 figures that people want. That that's a year. It could be a year's worth of figures. As far as depending on how you packed them out, as far as in different waves, and it's at least a starting point for. Market research for them, Yeah.
And we did it for free.
So
right.
It's really good to see, the big names in this community coming together to unite and be on the same page and beat the same drum, as Chris likes to say. It's really good to see that again. I think, I don't know, from my perspective, it seems like that hasn't happened in a long time. So it's really good to see that happening again. First of all. Secondly, to your point about how Hasbro used to do polls, the last Fans' Choice poll was the one that resulted in Afra. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah, that was what, two or 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
2019.
yeah.
Oh, look what happened. Look what happened with the Black Series one. They chose Cody, who was probably going to get archived anyway.
Yeah.
But
It was
then
rigged.
even still, most of the ones that were like runners up, were like Jin and Qui-Gon, who are getting photoreal updates and stuff in some form or fashion. So I don't know. Even if they already have one, and that's always been the case with some of these fan votes, they already have a couple planned.
Oh yeah.
They can go, okay, you got Mara Jade or Darth Revan or whatever, and then maybe they'll do Quinlan Voss as well, or whatever happened 10 years ago. I don't know. Hopefully, it's a sort of a guiding. A guidepost for them, guiding light, goalpost, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I
think it's Chris Swansky said, wasn't it, that really it's not that difficult, is it, for them to know what to. There's some like blindingly obvious characters that just haven't ever been done. That really,
like
really
Velkin
need to
Taziri.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Clearly.
It's it's just not difficult, is it? But
I think that's the thing is it's like so many main characters, you see more of the world. And I think we saw Chirrut, whatever.
Yeah.
Go on some stupid discount at one point, and that's just, you see that, and it's like, oh no, what does this mean for Baze? What does this mean for Bodhi? What does this mean? What does this mean for some of this? Why are some figures still on pre-sale on Hasbro Pulse? You hope they're just trying to gauge a better demand and make a certain amount and not over supply them. But it's I just worry about just having too many main characters for all this new media, and rightfully so. We should have them, but we should also have the background.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But that's the thing. It's like the volumes that they're putting out. It's
it's not really serving anybody right now.
Yeah, it's just very
and that's part of what could give to change that.
It's like when we talk about the Jedi Fallen Order game. It's like I would love Cal Kestis. I really would. I've actually just finished playing that game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I played it for a little while, put it down, and then I got back into it, and I've started playing it, and it's really good. And that character's great. But I wouldn't want that character if there was no other characters to go with it. For me, there wouldn't be any point in having him in the line. It's just him on his own. You would need his enemy and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
So when they come to these new medias, like with the Mandalorian, etc., we've got 10 now. But there's still even though we've got 10, there's still some glaring misses, isn't there?
Yeah, quite a few.
And that's the problem, because the volume isn't there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like while we're trying to get some of these really big characters from past properties and present properties, for me, a Cal Kestis goes quite far down the list, because I know that he would probably be the only one that we'd get, and then he'd just be this lone figure.
But then
it'd be a great figure, but
if they gave him the poncho from the game, they could do all 85 repaints of him like you do in the game.
They already started in Black Series.
That's true. Yeah.
Repaint games,
about 30 lightsabers and
yeah. And I would buy all 85.
That was a sweet shawl he had in the Black Series.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of ponchos, so whenever they put a poncho on a Star Wars character, I'm in.
A shawl? I thought that was a shawl.
Or a shawl, whatever.
At the end, one of the last ones you get in the game is like this hot, bright pink one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and then it carries over into the cutscenes. So at the end, I mean, I won't spoil it, but it's a big climactic duel and battle and everything, and he's wearing this bright pink thing like he just went to Claire's at the mall, and it's like something. This doesn't quite work for me. I don't know.
Because his Jedi Master is the same as Zeb, right? So they could easily, in the Black Series, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Yeah, Jaro
it's
Tapal.
The same, they could just kit bash that quite easily.
And Jaro was number 76. He was right under Frog Lady on the list.
He's doing well then.
Yeah.
if he's with Frog Lady.
Or Wise Jedi Master.
Awesome. Right, I think it's been great having you all on again, guys.
It's been an honor.
We've been going for 2.5 hours, and it's half midnight for me now.
Oh,
all right. Wow.
I'm not being a wimp or anything. I'm not, I could carry on, but I think we should wrap it up now. And just to thank, as I say, all of you for coming along. It's been awesome, and I think we've had a great chat today. Thanks for Jason for coming along. I know you've been busy, mate, so I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just to thank everyone in the chat for sticking around. I think we've been averaging 150 the whole time, so that's been awesome. And there's been some familiar names in the chat, which is great. So TVC guys, before we go, where can they find you? Quick plug.
Cool. Well, I'll start. You can find us at SWTVC. Got tons of fun stuff. You can vote every day in the stories on the matchups for the brackets. You can personally find me at Mile High Ground on Instagram. And I just post random stuff, and I hope you'll like it most of the time. I'm going to get some Boba Fett shops up this week, and then otherwise deal with it. So,
and there will be Ben Solo in Gap sweaters.
there's going to be so many Ben Solos, and also yes. So, and thank you guys again. I know I already said it, but seriously, thank you guys for all that you do, Jason, John, Tim. You guys are just amazing and are part of the reason to really get us all feeling kickstarted to jump into this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank all you guys. You can find me at the Vintage Concepts, also at SWTVC. On my own page, I do a lot of the concept cards, figures that I want to see, but that's been on pause as I do a lot of this bracket stuff. So go fill out your bracket if you haven't yet. Go follow along with all the winners. We'll be posting the winners in a couple days. So keep voting, keep checking that out. And
winners of round 1.
Yeah, winners of round 1. Then we'll go to round 2, and it'll move quicker as we go. But thanks to everyone who participated, and thanks to all you guys for joining in the fun and reposting it and everything. So, and thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Everyone who joined us. Tim, thank you for hosting. It was good to talk with all of you. Jason, thank you for gracing us with your presence. This was an unexpected surprise, but most welcome. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been a fun discussion, and you guys can find me at SW Collector 3.75. I post mostly 3.75 inch stuff. You will occasionally see the odd hot toys, so go ahead and criticize me for that. But yeah, also I would like to note that we do have a website coming. It's under construction right now, but if you go to our website in our bio right now, you can find our SWTVC merch, and that helps fund our awesome giveaways like the Falcon and other things that we just gave away. So,
and you can find the bracket there as well.
You're welcome.
It's SWTVC.net, and yeah, our team member Carlo is kicking butt with that. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Carlo and Lewis, the other 2 members of our team, for just being awesome.
Yeah,
100%.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got him to join. Did he join Facebook just to check out our group?
Yes,
I think he did.
Poor guy. He's all whining. Great.
And John?
Yeah, you can find me at Star Wars, the Vintage Collection Facebook group. I'm at the far side of Endor on Instagram. Shout out to Evan for hooking me up with some sweet graphics. Yes. And underscore John Miko on Twitter. And yeah, come, if you're not on Facebook, come join the group, share your collection and passion.
Awesome. And
vote.
Yes.
Yeah, vote. Yeah. and Jason, who doesn't know where Jason is?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Obviously, it's always fun talking about toys, especially vintage collection. You can find me yakface.com, Instagram, Twitter. Both handles are yak_face. I'm on other social channels as well. Sometimes I pop around on Discord servers and stuff like that. So, but I'm always online. People have questions or private messages, whatever, publicly. I'm always available. So again, guys, thanks for doing this. The graphics look great. It's fun seeing, some professional looking stuff out there, instead of, some of the other types of graphics you see out there. And it looks great. So
thank you.
Yeah. You get questions like, is that 6 inch?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times do you get that a day?
I haven't counted today, but there's one for sure.
Yeah.
Jason brings up a good question. Do you guys actually work?
Do I? Yeah.
Not you. The SWTVC guys, because you guys are pumping out a lot of material, and it's like, Jesus, go have some kids or something.
Oh, we got it. Well, no, we got a podcast too. I forgot to mention that. That takes up most of my time when I'm not doing other stuff. So
That's
yes, the
son.
SWTVC podcast. That's my child.
Yeah.
That's our child.
I said this. I did a live stream during the week for my 15,000 subscribers, and I mentioned it to the guys then that I gave you guys a plug then, and I said, "There's 5 of them, or 4. Yeah, 5 of them.
Yeah.
Is there 5 of you now? Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
So I'm on my own here, man.
Well, you know where to find us.
That helps immensely. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you're doing great work, guys. It's
Thank you.
awesome. So
It's been a blast.
and yeah, it's been awesome having everyone on as per usual. Stick around 5 minutes afterwards, and we'll have a quick chat before we go. But yeah, we'll just see everyone again soon for another episode of the Vintage Collection Show. We'll have some more awesome guests on again in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, there'll be some news. Maybe there's not. I don't know, but we'll see you. We'll see you all again soon.
Good luck
Cheers,
on Monday.
guys.
Good luck on Monday
Thank
trying
you.
to get your TVC figures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with us all.
Yeah.
Pre-orders, multiple pre-orders is key. Do not put them all in one basket.
Yes.
Yeah. Save some for everyone else. All right. See you later, guys. We're off
See ya.
now.